The fuse is lit, stand clear of the blast. Pressurizing, engines scream, cutting through like a laser beam. This is the future, breaking fast. Lock it in, it's time to blast. Blast off. Shockwave, tearing through. Explosions of the new, break the old into. Blast off. Coreware, leading charge. coreBLAST, the future hits hard. Walls come down, the limits erased. Every step forward redefines the space. Underground rumble, now the moment's amassed. History shakes when the blast comes to pass. It's a blast. The countdown zero. It's a blast. From sparks to heroes. It's a blast. No rules, no past. Exploding forward in a core blast. Blast off. Shockwave, tearing through. Explosions of the new, break the old into. Blast off. Coreware, leading the charge. coreBLAST, the future hits hard. It's a blast. The countdown zero. It's a blast. From sparks to heroes. It's a blast. No rules, no past. Exploding forward in a core blast. Blast off. Shockwave, tearing through. Explosions of the new, break the old into. Blast off. Coreware, leading the charge. coreBLAST, the future hits hard. The future hits hard.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
We're doing great, Joe.
I know we need to get the important things out of the way first. So I would like for everybody to settle in for the world premiere of Don't. Absolutely don't. Under any
Do not.
circumstances, for any reason whatsoever, don't do the Okie. Enjoy.
When's H?
Ladies and gentlemen, this video was made to encourage you to not do the Okie. Although the actors in this video look like Ezra, Okie, and Joel, they are not. No actors were harmed in the making of this video. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Look, clicked the wrong thing, whole room froze up. Everybody looked around like, man, who showed up? Hit the wrong button, now the screen got weird. Big dog talking, but the lesson came clear. Don't do the Okie, don't sleep on the tools. Don't walk past gold, trying to play it all cool. Button right there, but you act like it's hidden. Whole lot of power, but you scared to go get it. Don't do the Okie, now open your eyes. Too many people let the good stuff slide. Feature in the system, but you never take a shot. Then wonder why your workflow tied in a knot. See, the game ain't always about grinding more. Sometimes the answer's right there in the drawer. Same screen, same app, same setup, same day. Difference one man click, other one stay. That's how time gets lost, that's how pressure builds. That's how teams stay stuck when they got the skills. Everybody want fast, everybody want smooth, but nobody wanna test what the platform can do. Don't do the Okie, quit staring at the wall. You got all these tools, better learn them all. Might be one click from a whole new lane. One move from less stress, more grip on the game. One tab, two tabs, now the view opens wide. Notes on the left and the ops on the side. Work ain't lighter cause you wish real hard. Work gets lighter when you use your card. That's the lesson in the laugh, yeah, the joke hit clean, but the truth sat heavy underneath that scene. Too many folks let the obvious pass and complain that the job keep dragging it back. Nah, hit the button, try the pad, break the habit. Do the math, if it's built in front of you, then use what's there. Stop acting like the good stuff disappeared in the air. Ain't magic, ain't luck, ain't smoke, ain't fog. Half the battles just not being scared to explore. Don't do the okey, make that your rule. Click around smart, get familiar with the tools. Might find one small thing, change how you flow. That's how you tighten up, that's how you grow. Don't do the okey, let that line live on. Quit working half blind when the help's built strong. From one little joke came a real coach spoken. Use what you got, don't leave the door one open, yeah. Don't do the okey. That's the motto, click first, level up after.
We hope you enjoyed this piece. We also hope that you commit to never doing the okey. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Peace out.
There you go.
Okay.
Do the okey. Okey, what was with the plate?
All right. Well, hold on. I got to go first because I think the whole point was not, I mean, Joel, seriously, every clip of that, I had less and less hair. I have an issue with this. As opposed to Oki, who you made look better and better and better. It was like he kept getting
robot.
better looking.
I got fatter.
Kept getting worse looking. Oh,
I got fatter,
God.
and I got an earring. Go figure.
I think Oki paid you off or something, but I'm calling Iran to redo that video because clearly we have no AI skills.
Oh man, they could have done
yes,
it.
I said it.
Wait, that was AI?
I wouldn't have shared my drink at the end though either. That's why I think it's a deep fake.
My biggest question is what's with the rainbow snake?
That was weird. Ezra, what was that? What was that trick called?
I don't know. The snake, the rainbow snake. Not that we're into rainbows here, just to be clear.
At all. We're not. The good rainbows. We're okay with the good
Well,
rainbows.
Oki is. He's a Cowboys fan, so he is.
Hey,
Yeah,
so
you gave
really-
him a Cowboys fan. I mean, you made Oki look so good in this video. He's going to be watching it over and over again. I mean,
Okay,
wow.
You really did. You did look good, but I think it was the. I think
he needs to grow a mullet now. That mullet was pretty rocking. They're coming back.
Hey, but seriously, before we get off topic, because I want everybody to realize why we even are saying don't do the okey. And Ezra made a really good point. That's why he came up with don't do the okey. So Ezra, can you expound upon why or what
I can,
the okey
and
is?
there's actually even a funnier part to this. So, and I don't remember exactly what screen it was on, but Oki asked a question. I think it was literally during our last coreBLAST, and I was like, "Yeah, just hit the button." Right? There was a button right on the screen that he was looking at, and it's like, "Yeah, don't do it." So I was telling everyone, "Don't do the okey. Like, explore. Hit the buttons." And here's the funniest part, right? So. Oki, Colt, myself, and some other people, we're product owners, right? Which means, we're the architects for certain modules. Oki is actually the architect for our service module, which by far, it has the most buttons, is what's funny, because it has so much functionality to it. So he's good at creating the buttons, but apparently not good at just clicking around on them. But my whole point on that was, and we made it into a joke, but in all seriousness, I know we have a lot of customers either starting to use it live or just, going in there and, looking around. And, a lot of people are like, Ezra, where's the university? Where's the guides? And I'm like, hey, and I even said this to our staff. It's like, no, just literally go experiment, go hit buttons, go. It's easy enough to learn on your own. And I'm not saying we're not going to have the materials that I keep promising. We still have no guides, and there's reasoning for the madness. But at the end of the day, yeah, just, I encourage everyone to just click away, try things. You can set up, for example, maybe you've never done an email campaign. You don't even use an email campaign system right now because you don't want to spend the money because you're not sure how to use it. Just go in there and try it and send an email to yourself. It's actually pretty fun. Something fun to do is just to experiment around. And, if you do break something, just let us know, because you shouldn't be able to break anything. And there's definitely some breaking points because it's a brand new system, and there's a lot for us to check and test, and even though we're using automated tools and all kinds of fancy things, at the end of the day, it's still software. So software can be buggy. The good news is we can fix things these days lightning fast, a whole lot faster than what I would call the legacy systems. So that's the good news. But yeah, don't do the Oki, meaning just explore, right? Hit those buttons. And again, Oki actually is the last person. He does usually look at things, and that's what's kind of so funny about this. And like I said, I've reached out to him, and I've done the Oki, and I didn't share this last week, but I reached out to him, and I'm like, gosh, how do I do this? And he's like, Ezra, the button right in front of you. So don't do it, right? I do it, and again, we have this amazing op center that we use quite a bit internally, and everyone has access to it. And actually, this might be a really good segue because we've done a couple of things that I think it's worth sharing. And again, everyone remember, and those of you who are new here, this is a coreBLAST. So we don't make these short because this is our way of providing some training. And what we've done in the past is we take these coreBLASTs and we make sure to timestamp them. And I don't know if we've done it yet, but we also sometimes splice out some of the videos, and that's what we'll end up using for some of our training material, right? So that's why these coreBLASTs, even if, we have thousands of people watching us, but even if I didn't have anyone, we'd still do these because it's good for us to have. It's a good reference. And once again, Coreware staff, if you're not watching these, yikes. And I hope everyone's watching the Core Pals. They're quick. They're usually 5 to 10 minutes on average. And they're really valuable. And I know we did one each day leading up, wink, wink, to the to the webinar. We really tried. And we came close, but there were a couple of technical issues as well as sleep deprivation issues. But we literally have like 5 or 6, and I think they're all pretty valuable, Joel, in terms of what we shared. I don't know what the view count is, but just for any of our staff that's watching, our view count better be larger than the number of employees we have.
I agree. And I'll share a link to the CorePal playlist.
Perfect.
Here in just a second. Oh, we have another guest, so let's get the introduction out of the way here.
What's up, guys?
Joshy. Hey, Josh. How's it going? You missed the debut of Don't Do the Oki, so you'll have to watch it later.
I also apparently missed some AI stuff at the beginning that I'm a little disappointed about missing.
Yep.
I didn't see any AI stuff.
That was
all real.
That was the Don't Do It. That's all the Don't Do the Oki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Yeah, just don't do it. But yeah, it was the world debut of the Don't Do the Oki video. So yeah, you'll watch it later. It's brilliant.
And the guys look just like us. It was amazing.
Totally. Hey, so guys, I want to talk first about a really important topic. I want to talk about my shirt. Anyone notice my shirt?
It looks really good.
Yeah, it's our SHOT Show shirt, but I cut it to a short sleeve.
Oh, that is really cool.
Actually,
that is really cool.
Check it out. So that's the symbol of Iran. I'm kidding.
Golly, we are so done.
I had to do it. I was telling everybody. So Josh, the AI video, the real video that we did for Don't Do the Oki was so bad. I told Joel we should have recruited Iran to do it. But
yeah, they're kind of murdering us with these AI videos.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So in all seriousness, I'm super excited about this shirt because as I think most people know, we have customers, not just in the States. We've got customers here in the Philippines where I'm at the moment. I'll be in Miami this coming weekend. So I'll be traveling, but we've got a trade show coming up, and this is the shirts that we did for the trade show. So very similar to our SHOT Show shirts, but it's summer here. So super hot. So they went with the short sleeve. I really like these. And this is just, it's our Philippines here, homage to the Philippines. So excited about the shirt, but more excited that we've got a trade show. And why I wanted to share this with everyone so we've got some gun ranges and gun stores here in the Philippines that use Coreware for their stores and for their operations. We're actually, for the first time, I think, even for Coreware Anywhere, we're actually going to a general show. And the reason for that is we're going to actually the largest franchise show that's here in the Philippines. Just so everyone knows, Philippines, very large population, a lot of business opportunities, about 100 million people here, and a lot of good opportunities here. And with the new Coreware platform, which coreBLAST is all about, we purposely have made Coreware to extend beyond the firearms industry. And I just want to address this a little because some people might say, well, that's cause of concern, right? Because is Coreware starting to branch out too much? And, we've always been in the regulated, we've dabbled in the CBD industry. We're about to enter into the pawn industry very heavily, which is very related to the firearms industry. But we're actually going into a general retail trade show. And we think there's a lot of opportunities, especially with what we've introduced with this amazing platform that we have. And what's interesting is the gun industry, we're seeing this more and more. We've seen it before where we have customers that they don't just run a range, but they run a facility where the range is part of that facility. And it's more of an entertainment facility. And we already have customers. I mean, we've got a customer where they run a martial arts studio, a gym, they've got a cafe, all within, this one venue. And we're pretty excited because we're seeing this happen more and more, which, again, the beauty of that is with our new platform, it really does fit even general retail. And especially for customers, some of our audience right now, some of you, whether you run a different business completely, or you may run, for example, a range, but it's part of a bigger business that does other things. This is where Coreware, the new platform, truly, truly shines. Because I can set up a facility that handles a gun range as easy as I can set up a facility that can handle a pickleball court, right? Or any other type of venue like that. So the scheduling module, facility module, it all lends itself to general business. So it actually strengthens our overall solution. For us, we're rooted in the firearms industry. That will never change. But again, the beauty of the firearms industry, to me, it's one of the most complex retail environments. I keep telling people that, especially a range, but even a typical gun store. You're not talking about just selling widgets. You're talking about selling firearms, but you're not just talking about selling firearms. You're talking about running classes. You're talking about layaways. You're talking about trade-ins. You're talking about rentals at times. So there's so many aspects to a firearm store that make it, to me, one of the most complex retail environments, which again lends itself for us to be able to have a solution that can fit, a lot of different industries. So I just wanted to give everyone just a quick update on that. So we're pretty excited where everything is heading towards. I also wanted to touch on really quick, because again, these webinars are a lot of times attended by our customers. And Oki, what I figured we might want to do first is actually for those customers, right? If any of you are customers, and again, I know we have customers watching this. Most of you, I assume, have seen our whole new chat service. And what you may or may not have noticed is we've introduced AI into the chat, but we've done it in what we feel is the absolute best way possible. Because so far, I haven't seen a single complaint come in saying, your AI sucks, or, I want to speak to a human. Get me to a fucking agent, right? I mean, those are quotes from previous chats. And I literally don't blame anyone. I've done it, right? If I get into a service situation and I get into a chat and immediately an AI is starting to ask me questions, it's like, no, I don't want to go through this routine. Let me just talk to the human, right? But where we found the experience can be made into a very positive is while I'm waiting, can I consult, with an AI? And it may or may not help me, right? So it's the human side that's electing to interact with the AI and not vice versa, right? The problem with AI right now is it's shoved down everyone's throats. And I'm sorry, there's still nothing like human interaction. I think we can all agree on that. I've said it for years, again, physical interaction, no replacement. But even when you're communicating to someone, as human as some of these AI bots become, it's still not talking to a human. So we tried to really balance that out. So I just wanted to show everyone just our chat window and just show everyone how, they can go on a chat. And okay, if you don't mind sharing your screen and just pull up our chat and let's just show everyone how they can, interact, because this is helpful for our current customers. And then I'll talk about, how you can leverage that for your own business.
Absolutely. So just on our chat widget, whether it's inside of CoreStore, on the website, on the back end of CoreForce, if you guys go ahead and open that, you'll notice that currently we're defaulting to Ask Corey. As Ezra was stating, you can go ahead and you can skip that, or maybe you just want to talk with Corey, see if it can answer your question. So there's a couple options. If you don't want to talk to Corey, you could hit the need to talk to a human, open a support request right at the bottom, or you can simply just click on my requests and start a new request. But the great thing is maybe you just have a quick question. You don't want to, wait for a human response, and maybe it's, not anything complex. But actually I've been quite impressed with the answers that this has given out. So you're going to go ahead and select Watch Expert, and you will see a Coreware expert appear here too shortly. That is something I'm working on right now, which will give you the option to ask about the new unified platform, any questions you have there. So, quite simple, like any other chat bot. How do I create a bound book? Go ahead and ask the question, and this is going to go out and talk to our CoreStore expert in the back end. So it gives you quite a detailed walkthrough, the steps to go to the FFL menu, select the bound book, manage bound book. So it's giving you the step-by-step process. Not only that, it's going to link to our knowledge base. So right now, Ezra, we're pulling all of this from our old knowledge base. Obviously, the Coreware one will pull from the new Coreware knowledge base when we get that set up. So you can go ahead. What I would really like as our customers, if this is a good answer, it helped you, please leave a thumbs up, leave the feedback for us. So that way I know which answers suck and I need to change and fix, and, help us build, basically our knowledge base. So from here, really quite simple. You go ahead, click need to talk to human, and you could open a request from there. This way, you're not stuck in that endless loop, Ezra, that we've all fell victim to. I need to talk to someone. I want to talk to a human. You are in control of, do you really want to, or do you just want to stick with Corey? So, from there, guys, you guys can use this at loading your frequently asked questions. Maybe you get questions you're asked a lot. You want to have
hold that thought for a second, because I want to hit that, but I want to stay focused on our Coreware customers, right? Meaning, because I do want to circle around to exactly what you were about to hit, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands, because again, obviously we have a lot of customers. Everyone always needs support, but this is a quick way to see if we have answers. But the other, and I'm glad you hit my request, because I did want to touch on this as well. Because I know I've seen some customers comment that, hey, why'd you close my request, right? And I just want to make sure that everyone understands, and hopefully we have a lot of customers that will hear this. Just because we close the request, it doesn't mean it's necessarily over. You just click it, right? If you want to comment on a closed request, and I wish we could come up with maybe we need to come up with better terminology. Like, we think it's resolved. Because I think the perception is I get an email that says closed, and I get pissed off because it's like, well, in my mind, it's not closed, right? Coreware might think it's closed, but I do want to, it's so easy to, go to that closed request and just click it, and then it will reopen. So, so that's really, really important, because I think that will help with, unnecessary frustration. And I understand, and I apologize if we've frustrated you by, just clicking that close, which, we've told our staff, don't just click the close. We've got leaderboards, so everyone's anxious, for their numbers to look good. So obviously we have a responsibility to make sure that our staff is educated in terms of when or when not to close a request. But also, I do want customers to know that just because the request is closed doesn't mean, it just means, well, Coreware thinks it's closed, right? But it doesn't mean you can't just click it and reopen it. And that's why I'm like, based on the feedback, maybe we change that word, or maybe we don't, and just explaining it, or maybe making it obvious, to say, hey, click that, maybe nobody clicks that close because they think, hey, I can't do anything because Coreware closed it. So maybe on the open, we can clearly say, hey, if you can reopen, just click, the close. So I think that's important for everyone to know. The other, go ahead.
Oh, and on that, the support text, when they're closing a request, they should be, letting you know, hey, I've provided you the information needed to, correct the issue or set up this feature. If you have any other questions, please just respond back to this chat and it will reopen it. So they should be leaving instruction on that for you guys too. We want it to be a smooth process. And like Ezra said, we understand, it may not be closed. There may still be an issue, or you run into something else that pertains to that request. Just respond back and let's reopen it, and we'll make sure the right people get after it for you.
Absolutely. So then this is what's exciting, right? And I keep saying this, and I'll keep saying it. The beauty of Coreware using our own system, and in this case, for handling our service, right, is that the way we're building it is, if we think of something for us, we want to make sure that feature is exposed for you to help you service your customers better. And this is where it gets really exciting, because the way we implemented this, right, we could have hard coded and said, hey, I have this hard coded for Coreware, so it knows about CoreStore, it knows about CoreForce. But when I was working with Oki on this, for me, hard coding anything is a really bad idea and kind of it limits you, right? So what we're going to show you next is something that you'll have access to, but we're going to show you exactly how did we build what I consider a custom agent. And the beauty of a custom agent is that you can create as many custom agents as you want. And those custom agents can have proprietary information that's specific to your business. You know, every business is different. Everyone specializes in certain things. Everyone has, you know, unique information that separates you from, you know, another gun store. And you can use that to your advantage. So we don't have this turned on yet, but I want to show it because I want to show you that this is a live feature because we're using it, we're testing it. And when we put it together, I said, Josh, okay, I'm just going to give you the ability to simply create a custom expert. And then you tell it where to pull information from. And I'll let Josh walk you quickly through this. And I do want to explain, why did we create a separate core store versus a core force expert? And by the way, Josh, just for screen sake, because I'll forget to tell you this, you can just call it core store and core force. That way we can fit Coreware without people needing to scroll. And that's really minor. But I was just thinking, yeah, we need to add Coreware. So the neat thing is, again, you'll have access to these agents and you can feed it whatever information you want. So why did we separate them? We separated them from literally experience. When we were using a third-party system and we tried their AI, you know, we had one massive knowledge base. And inevitably, when we put all these knowledge base articles in, when someone was talking to the AI, and just a small example, and they had a question about promotions. Well, the AI is looking and starting to answer and say, yes, this is where you set up promotions. You go to, you go to products, promotions, ... and here's all the instructions. Well, inevitably, right, we have promotions that are set up in Core Store. We have promotions set up in Core Force, and the AI was just picking one, right? And it wasn't always obvious to the end user, to you, right? Which one is it talking about? Like, I'm a new customer. I don't even use Core Force, and it's showing me information about Core Force. And I literally, so no wonder I'm going to get frustrated because I have no freaking clue what this AI is talking about. And we've all experienced that with AI, right? Where you ask it something and it's giving you information that's completely not answering your question. So the more you can isolate things, the easier it is. So that's why in our case, we created two, and we'll create a third separate one, especially while we have customers using, now we've got people using Coreware, they're using Core Store, they're using Core Force, they're using all three, they're using two, they're using one. So it just makes it easier. Now, with that said, on your business side, you may just have my gun store ABC expert, right? And that knowledge may include everything about your business, and you can pull it all from, your website. You can put in, maybe you've created a blog and you want to feed that blog into, this expert just to be able to keep answering questions. And maybe there's other information that you might want to feed it. So that's what's really powerful here. So just really quick, Josh, because, I kind of gave you the tool and you just took it to the next step and okay, Ezra, I'm good. And I'll create this. And actually you came up with some pretty creative things here.
Yeah. So, really, as Ezra said, you're giving your agent a voice and a mind about the business, and in general, how everyone's, like you said, everyone's used AI. How do you want it to speak? Do you want it to speak professionally? What do you want it to know? So the first thing is your system prompt, and that's exactly what you're doing. And Joel, I know Joel has done a lot of webinars on prompting AI, how to speak with it, how to use it. So basically, in our system prompt, I was telling it, that they're a product specialist for Core Store. I go over what they cover, which is just the modules, the setup, everything that we have inside of Core Store. And I'm telling it how it answers. It searches the knowledge base first. If it doesn't found, it looks on care.coreware.com, which is our other knowledge base. So basically, and I'm telling you exactly what to do. I always wanted to give you an exact navigation path. So you're building this robot and teaching it how you want it to behave with your system prompt.
And honestly, Josh, you in theory could use, and I don't know if you did or not, but you can just come up with some bullets and then feed it to like ChatGPT to make it,
exactly.
Right?
And that's exactly what I did. I took the information. I'm gonna work smarter, not harder, like everyone should. You take your basic information, feed it information about your product, about your business, and use that info as a prompt to, hey, ChatGPT, help me write a system prompt for an automated chat agent using this information. And that's going to give you a nice little bullet list like I have here with my 6 steps for it. So yeah, pretty straightforward. As you're feeding it the info, you just need to tell it what to do, ask it the right questions. And you can always say, is this prompt good enough, or what else should I include? Ask it those questions, and it will help streamline that for you and make it usable on your side. I did not.
You can scroll all the way. Okay. Yeah, you can scroll all the way down on those, because we'll probably hide some of those. They don't apply to the custom agents.
So this is really the only other one. Show in chat widget. You enable this, then this agent is going to show on your customer facing chat widget as someone to talk to. Now, playbooks, I don't have any playbooks set up for this. It's really just the knowledge base. So when you click add knowledge, you can actually go ahead and put in the text, markdown, or a URL path. At the time, I probably did way more than I should have. I probably should have just used the URL. But what I did was I actually went to our chat GPT, and I took our link, and I had it go over all of our documentation and let me know basically how it would categorize this knowledge. And as you can see, I have sales and register operations, FFL, inventory and items, getting started, employees, etc. So it went ahead and broke this out into categories for me in sections. And if we take a look, you can see that I went ahead and had it generate what I would use for the content. So it knows how to process a sale, open and close a register, and then it has all the links to the articles. So once again, I just used AI to help me create these knowledge entries for us on what should be covered, where it should find the information. So you can see it's a wall of text in here. Now, you probably could have did it an easier way and just copied the URL and put that in. I just wanted to be really precise with how the agent gathers the data, how it responds, where it looks first and foremost before it does its fallbacks. So you can get really granular in there.
So I want to step in here, because this is the difference between me doing it and Oki doing it. And when I set it up just to test, I just put in the URL. And when Oki played with it, he realized, Ezra, it's not really doing a good job, because it's not providing customers with the exact links. And so he went through and actually put the work in. So again, this is a great example of, just because you have AI doesn't mean it's going to do a good job for you. You've got to learn how to use the tool, and you've got to educate the tool in a way, especially when it comes to AI. You've got to give it the information and the right information, and you've got to put some work into it. And that's the difference. I did it just to test the concept, right? But when it came to practical use and making it useful for our customers, that's where putting in the extra work here. And again, okay, you did a phenomenal job, and I'm not just saying it, because we've seen the results. We've so far seen a lot of positive comments back, on the new AI, as far as, it actually answered my questions. I think there was a question, yeah, you can definitely share that, because this is, everyone has access to this. But there was actually a compliance issue that came up, and we were happy to see Corey actually gave a really good response that was accurate. And again, it doesn't mean that Corey will be right every time, because it's garbage in, garbage out. If you feed it knowledge that's not accurate or not detailed enough, it won't provide those results. So for any of you that do set up like a custom agent, which again, you'll be able to, just make sure you're feeding it the right information and a lot of information, because the more information it has, the better it is. And I think Oki actually is pulling up this particular chat.
Yeah. So, we had a customer who had a lower ship to us. He's not 21, so we can't process the FFL. We're wondering I'm imagining that was 4473, but we were wondering what are we supposed to do, because we have not run into this problem. So you're correct. Federal law requires a customer to be 21 and take possession of the lower receiver. In this case, you cannot lawfully transfer the item to this buyer. Here's what you should do. This is not legal advice. I love that it says that. Verify with your compliance attorney or field office. But yeah, I mean, it walks you through, record the initial acquisition. So it's going to show you how to do that manually, showing that this lower has come in, it's been received. It tells you not to dispose it. It tells you what should you do, return or transfer the lower. So either return it to the sending FFL or transfer to another qualified buyer. And then it gives you the steps on how to do that. So I really like this. It's going to, show you every question that's asked in the analytics here. You'll also be able to find anything by all positive feedback, any negative, anything that's unrated. So if I look at negative, we don't have anything in here.
I just want to show everyone. I mean, these are our real stats, but you can see, and this is exciting to see, right? Because again, when you launch this for your business, you'll be able to see how's Corey doing for you, and are people satisfied or are they not? Are they actually starting a question with Corey and then saying, no, get me an agent, right? That to me is the biggest measure of success or not. And you'll see our numbers are pretty interesting. If you just look at the bottom two, I'll explain the customer engagement agent. We turned it on by accident. But basically, if you look, we have 11 escalations out of 52 or 92 questions, sorry, and 6 out of 73. Those are really good stats. And again, I want to make sure everyone understands this isn't an issue about replacing humans. I spent nearly 18 years at Sports South. Colt was there almost all of those years with me, not quite, but he can attest to the fact that we would bring in robotics into the warehouse, and every time I brought a new robot in or a new piece of automation, they'd be like, Ezra, who's losing their job? And I'm like, nobody. It's these tools help you scale. And that's what, you think about it for your business too, is if you are setting up an e-commerce site and you start being more and more successful, you need to start thinking about hiring people, right? Because when you first sell a few orders a month, yeah, you can use your staff in the retail store, but at some point you're getting overwhelmed with orders, hopefully, right? And you need to think, hey, I better hire someone that's customer service dedicated to internet orders. Well, then it keeps growing, right? So what are you going to do? Do you hire another person, or can you leverage tools to help you scale? So I want that to resonate with everyone, because all of these tools, and again, hopefully our employees are watching this, because for us, it's all about scale. If I can grow, right, my business without increasing costs, right, and wages are, next to inventory for a retail store, wages are your second highest cost usually in a business. That's where it gets exciting, right? That's where you can look at AI not as a job destroyer, but as a business grower and as a job protector, because it helps protect your existing staff, because you can handle more grow your business, job security, right, for your staff. And you can do a whole lot more. And it's a win-win-win for everyone. So that's how I look at automation and AI. Again, robotics, all of this, it's not new. It's just that we've reached a point where the computing power is there. But none of this is new. 18 years started with not a single powered conveyor belt at Sport South. And, we end up with these massive machines. And some of you have been to Sport South, to the warehouse, where we implemented tremendous amounts of automation. Not a single job ever lost. In fact, we had to hire more people at times because some of the automation required, more people to actually service it. And certainly our order volume grew tremendously. So this is part of what we're bringing to you. And if you go to, again, once we unleash the custom agents and you set it up, you can go right to the service module, click on analytics, and you can see, if you scroll, you'll see the Corey chat. We have a lot of analytics, so it's growing. We may change this up a little bit, but at the end of the day, we have the arrow now. So that's an example of my stupidity. I was like, okay, where's the Corey chat analytics? I know I saw it the other day, and literally I was blind as a bat. And
that was a design issue, though.
Yeah, it's always pretty dumb of me for not trying to scroll to a little bit. But and again, I share that because you can be as technical as I am, and you can be totally not technical. And at the end of the day, we're all human, right? And we all, sometimes it just, you miss it, right? And that's what we're here for, is to answer some of those questions. So last thing I just wanted to touch on, which is really important, is the customer engagement agent. So if you go back to the company and pull up the Corey agents, I just want to explain what that is, because to me, that's one of the more exciting agents that we are working on. And like I said, we temporarily turned it on. But the idea of the customer engagement agent is to have a built-in agent that basically knows about your customers' orders, right? And, maybe their subscriptions and, other information related to that customer, so that, because I think one of the most common questions that, and again, I'm mostly speaking to customers that have a website, but even if you don't have a website, right? If you offer special ordering, right? Probably one of the most common phone calls or emails that you get is, where's my stuff? I mean, they're excited. It's, whatever, the new 6 hour that just came out, and, they pre-ordered it through you. They came into the store, pre-ordered it, where's my stuff? Where's my stuff? Where's my stuff? Right. And being able to simply have on your website the ability for your customer, because they're a customer, they put down a deposit or paid you in full, and, now they're anxious. That's what helps sell, right? Is you've got these customers that are passionate about the industry, and they just want to know, hey, I'm excited. They're not calling to really bug you. I'm speaking from a consumer standpoint. They're just excited. So being able to give them the ability to say, hey, just if you need to check on it, just go up to the website and, talk to our service department, and they can basically speak through your Corey agent to say, hey, what's the status on my order? I just ordered a drop ship item, right? So all of that information you don't have to worry about, hey, I need to build a custom agent. How am I going to do that? That's part of the built-in agents that we're going to be turning on. And some of these built-in agents are kind of turned on, some of them not. We're at some really monumental points, with the platform. So we're literally days away from turning on a lot of different pieces, final pieces here. But that's basically what that customer engagement agent will do. It will just be intelligent in terms of being able to communicate, hey, what's the status of my work order? if you do gunsmithing.
And like you said too, scaling, that's going to help you scale. I mean, think of it.
Yep.
I talked to a customer and he's like, I need to cut out these emails. I need to cut out these phone calls. It's taking too much time. And that's going to be a way you can do it. They can ask the agent. So,
yeah. So 2 more things that I can think of, Oki, and then I'll stop picking on you. So one thing I wanted for you to share, just so everyone sees, because you brought up an issue of email, right? A lot of customers, no matter what you give them on the website, they still will send you emails. So do you want to just a quick preview on, we've mentioned it, but I think it's really, really cool. For example, and let me give you this specific example. For us at Coreware, many of you on this webinar, the quickest way to reach us is, through chat, or if you're, some of our customers have, a different access point through a different chat, right? But at the end of the day, we have many, many customers, and not everyone pays attention to, our communication. They're busy, right? So they don't see webinars, they don't, read announcements. So and some of them literally, they're at the point where they've used us for years and they don't need a lot of help. So suddenly they need help and they're like, how do I reach Coreware? Well, I'm just going to send support an email, right? So inevitably that email will get lost, right? Because it means a human has to pay attention to the support email, which is probably getting bombarded with spam, right? So this is really exciting. This is, I believe, will get released hopefully next week at some point. Is that pretty safe to say, Oki?
Now I noticed that I just broke the other part of it, but yeah, I would say next week is probably going to be good. But I can show and talk about it. So there's
you don't have to go into a detail. Yeah, I just want you to give the highlight, and literally you don't have to worry about what's broken and what's not. So
well, so the highlight is there's 2 things. As Ezra said, we're going to be able to. And I think it's just compiling some stuff, but either way, so under your service settings, you're going to be able to connect your Gmail or an Outlook account, and what a channel is. I'm just going to use the advanced to kind of show you here, is you're going to set up a email channel like your support at coreware.com. And whenever someone emails that address, it's going to go ahead and create a request in our service module for you. So you guys can go ahead and maybe you have a sales email that needs to, whenever a sales email gets sent, it needs to route to the sales team, or whenever a support email comes in, it goes to the support team. So that's coming soon. Like Ezra said, I would look for it next week. I'm pretty close on it. The other side to this is, Ezra, we've talked about this a million times. I hate hopping into my email inbox somewhere else or working out of different systems, etc. So what we're doing here on this side is right inside the Ops Center, there'll be a new email button here. Now cool. It's already connected. So if I click on that, you can see that my email from guns.deals came in, my Google security alert. So as of right now, it's going to be an email client. At the end of the day, so we'll have our own built-in email. I haven't
even seen this. That's why I'm literally, that's a real reaction from my side, because I'm excited about this. For me personally, this is huge because the idea of jumping between tools for me is so annoying, and this is going to be a game changer for me because, again, my Coreware email is typically filled with Coreware customer requests, or it's always related to Coreware aside from all the junk that I get. So I think this is going to be a big one for me. That's cool.
And you'll have the option to create a request from your email too, so you can just drop that over. But yeah, I'm still working on wiring up some of the stuff, but I would say next week, sometime next week, it will be released.
Wow.
I know I have a couple customers.
Yeah, I was just looking for that main support email, but now I'm gonna have to I'm going to have to hold you to it. That's super exciting.
The other side, real quick, since I'm on here, and I just released a couple of these things this week, so everyone knows. Let's say, under your messaging here, let me find one if I have. Oh, well, here's one that came from an email thread, so it'll show you that it came from email. But where is? Why do none of my? Oh, I can show you on live. I have it live here. Let me share this tab.
Okay.
I don't have any messages on some of these. All right. So right in your messaging system now, you actually can pin specific messages, and it will pop it up here to the top. So you can go ahead and just jump right to it. Same thing with your notes on the right-hand side. Since notes are simply just internal messages, you can pin those too. The other thing is, let me just see. I wonder if I have, I can create it. Well, the other side is now when you're doing tasks, it doesn't matter what part of the program you're in. I'll just make a test one here real quick.
So while you do that, let me just step in, because this is a really powerful feature for our customers. So you have requests coming in from customers. What's neat is you can take those requests and actually, maybe someone reached out to your website and they need a quote for an item, but they also at the same time are asking you about, a class, right? So maybe it's this request that has a couple of tasks in it. So the neat thing is, on any request, you can create tasks and assign each task to a different person. So, the question about, the maybe custom build that they have, you can just assign that to the gunsmith, or, the class question you may want to assign to whoever your trainer, right? And that is really helpful, and also saves you the time from trying to create new requests, right, for each one of those. So that's one of these features that most people may not really know what it is or pay attention to it, but it's so powerful. And again, we're using this ourselves because inevitably you as a customer, that sometimes you come into our chat, let's say you're pretty new with us and you've got 17 questions, right? Because you just got onboarded and you have all these questions accumulated from different people, and different staff members. Well, the nice thing is we can split that up to our subject matter experts and make sure that, you get all of those taken care of. And, hopefully we didn't miss any of the bullet points.
Yeah, and really the only thing, this was more for internal use because I had a lot of questions or a lot of asks for this, but obviously it might work for our customers too. You can actually reorganize your tasks in a certain way now on all the task lists. So when you add a task, it stays in that order because it was putting your first task at the bottom, but you can reorganize it if it has to go in a specific direction, or this task has to go first, etc.
And if you're a customer that's currently using a third party for tracking like a project or something, I know a lot of customers, whether you're using Trello or whether you're using Monday or whether you're using Asana, we did this again for us. We're sharing it with everyone because it's so helpful, but you can replace those tools. And again, if you're subscribed to any of those tools, I guarantee you're spending at least $50 to $100 a month on that. That's $600 to $1,200 a year that you can bring to your bottom line. And, again, that's how we're looking at it too, because at the end of the day for us, just like we don't just, we're trying to practice what we preach, right? So for us, building up Coreware, part of our goal is how can we cut costs, because we need to be, we need to make sure we're profitable, we're healthy, that's important. And we want to make sure we do everything we can to lower costs where it makes sense, right? Increase sales where it makes sense. So we're no different than anyone that's watching it. And that's why this is, it's so cool to experience this, because literally we're the test first test customer, right, of this platform, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I've gotten a lot of great ideas from other customers too, that have started using it. So it's something that's always just going to, be liquid. It's going to be changing, moving. And I think, you hit the nail on the head, getting rid of technology debt and putting everything in one system where you guys can. It's going to help everyone out in the long run. So especially at the price
100%.
point, the affordable price point you're going to have for all of that. So, it's great. Yeah,
for sure.
That's really all I had to show. Right. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're not getting off. I said there were two things.
Dang it.
No, just a quick, not to hold your feet to the fire, but just a quick update, because I know we have customers waiting on work orders. Do you just want to at least verbally, or I don't care if you want to share anything on the screen, but how are we looking with our work orders?
So we still are going through some testing. As you know, there's obviously we're waiting for the sales stuff to be released. That I want to make sure that's all linked.
Oh, you're blaming me.
Yeah, I'm blaming. Hey, Ezra didn't get that done yet, so I'm waiting for him.
I'll take it.
But really, we have made a few changes just to kind of show you real quickly. One thing that I can't remember I'll just use myself, who I have in for contacts. I'll go ahead and create a work order. And I'm sorry, my local system is super slow right now. But mainly the big thing, some of the big changes we've made have been more on the fact that, Ezra, we talked about this too. What if you have a internal item that is in stock in your inventory and a customer is going to purchase that, but they want some work done to it? So yeah, I might not be able to, I don't know why it's not going.
No worries.
But it's going to allow you, actually, let me just see if I can open another one.
You're playing with fire, Oki. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I am. Here we go.
You may want to exit if you're in our office. By the way, you may want to exit the office, because I know that takes up a lot of resources. I don't know if you are.
I am.
Literally exit from there, because between that and this streaming, it's overloading your system,
eating everything. Okay. You have the in-stock inventory item now, where you can actually take a firearm that you have for sale. A customer can say, hey, I want to buy this, but I want to have these parts on it. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to treat that as a sale item right on the work order, but show the items being committed to that, whether it's a scope, etc. So that's really one of the big changes we made, as far as being able to do that efficiently right from here. If we look at adding an inventory item, that's for the local one, but just to kind of show you on the customer item, we've actually made it now where you can select your item type, whether it's general, optic, your non-firearm types, or your firearm types. And we've added a couple other features here. If it's a privately made firearm coming in, the use toggle, those weren't there before. Everything in here now is wired up, pulls from the record if you scan the item, and updates the bound book, correctly. So those are some of the bigger changes.
Nice.
Really, the last piece for me is I need to, on my side, guys, everyone out there, is I need to make sure that I have the payments and the taxes working. So once I get that done, once again, Ezra, I'm hoping to have all the bit, and I hope, I want you to hold me to this, because I want to get done with it and get it off my plate. But I'm hoping to have everything here as far as the work orders and the new email stuff, all done here in the next couple of weeks, at least by the end of April. I want everything ready to go on my side. So.
Yeah, so I do. That's a good segue to just. I know a lot of people are asking, okay, Ezra, you guys are so close in so many areas. When can we really expect this? So we literally, I'm looking at our goal when we were at SHOT Show and we started unveiling this. My goal was March 31st. again, we've expanded things tremendously. And I'm not making excuses. It's just a fact. We kept adding more and more features, which is good. But we have an internal goal to have what I call phase 1 of Coreware completely done by the end of this month. So we're kind of delayed by about a month, 30 days. But we are looking really, really, really good. You can quote me on that, but if it's delayed a little bit more, I mean, that's just a fact. But I feel really good about that. Just to let everyone know, a lot of the pieces right now remaining are actually sitting in my plate, but we're looking really good. So next, what I'd like to do, and Colt, I know I told you I would let you go pretty close to first, but I think Josh Shee has another meeting, and I wanted to, assuming he's here and not on another call. Josh, are you still with us? Someone may need to put him back on stage. There he is.
Yeah,
Hello.
I have to get going here pretty soon.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, and again, we didn't talk before this. So I'm going to put you on the spot, but you're good at this. So one of the things that we released, is the website module. And, we talked last time, we talked about the action target integration and some of that. But I know you and Hunter have been working on your own site for the sales demos. And I just thought it would be really cool for you to show it off just really quick. Because Josh, in general, you're not like, is it?
It's
is
not
it not
close
showable?
to done, but I can absolutely
but,
show it still.
Yeah, I still think it's cool because you're not typically the person that builds websites and does design, and I think it's cool to show off what you and Hunter did, without using our, everyone's busy right now, but you were like, hey, I'll just go do this myself. So yeah.
Yep.
Do share.
Yeah, so we've mostly just done the homepage and the class booking as well as the range management page. So this is the homepage we built, and we just grabbed one of the templates. And Mom and I have been watching Dexter, so I feel like I was in a Miami style theme that day, and that's what inspired the Miami tactical operator with the Miami sunset in the background.
That's awesome.
All of the images, including our O3 logo, operators operating operationally. So what O3 stands for, if you guys didn't know. All of these are just AI generated. They took me 2 minutes to generate all of these images on ChatGPT. This right here is actually, let me preview it so I can see the item a little better. This is actually a real gun. This is an LMT Spec War, but I threw a Miami Tiger stripe on it again, still using ChatGPT. If anyone from LMT is watching this, I will spend $2,500 on this paint job. And you can see this is kind of where we stopped off on the homepage. I want to delete probably the rest just because it's a demo site. There's no really need. But I've been playing with some of the buttons, playing with the customer testimonials and client feedback. So none of this is stylized, but again, just more stuff that I was playing with. And this is easier than any web platform we've built. I mean, we can drag and drop elements so easily. It moves into your products extremely easily, whether it's the subscriptions, the collections you can build, or even just price buttons. And you can see what's coming soon here for categories, features, products, and just in general. And it's literally stupid simple. The fact that Hunter and I were both working on this, I give Hunter full credit, by the way, for these good-looking footers and the fun header with the acquire gear, sharpen your skills. Let me hop back over to preview, and we'll go to book a class. Oh, you know what? We never uploaded that page, or we never publish
okay.
that page. My bad.
I think when I went on the site itself, I think it was there. I thought
Oh,
it was.
on the preview it was?
Yeah, try the preview.
We have been
Because I
playing
was
with
all
it.
impressed. Yeah,
And the preview looks amazing.
that's really cool.
Besides the non-AI generated images, which I'm very proud of myself for, that I'm outshining the stock images. We'll do book a class here.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
I knew it was working. Very cool.
Yeah, so all of this is working. If I book a class, it'll show up on the range facility side that we showed off last time. If you guys want us to do a full walkthrough of all of this, we absolutely can, and you'll actually be able to see this. Memberships are required on this website, of course. Our waiver is not done just yet, but that's our next little option right there. We have a subdomain pushing over to the range queue. Again, this took Hunter and I an hour and a half, 2 hours to build all of this. And you can see there's still fragments. I want it to be clear.
I want to be clear, because obviously, as my child, people might think, you're a developer or Hunter has development skills. I mean, would you consider yourself no different than most of our customers in terms of, you literally were able to use this without, I don't think anyone even trained you, right?
No one trained me. We just hopped in. When you said it was open, we just started building.
Yeah.
We had a way uglier template at first that we decided to scrap because we didn't like editing on it. And yeah, we just explored all the other themes that were open to us, chose this one, and just started editing from there. It's truly crazy. Even the coloring. So coloring on other web building platforms to do this kind of gradient style is such a pain in the ass, to be completely honest. Whether it's WooCommerce, Odoo, or even how it was in Gorilla. And I don't know who focused on this specific part of just editing the gradients, but I chose gradient, I added 3 colors, and I just grabbed the color right from the logo that was already inside the website. Truly, truly dummy proof.
That's awesome.
It looks so good.
It looks so good. And what's really cool, Josh, is when I looked at it, I didn't know if you built it from scratch or started with a template. And that's the whole point, is you can take a template and make it your own to where it does not look like a template site. It looks like your site.
Exactly. Yeah, way easier than CoreForce. Million times easier than CoreForce. You don't have to pay us, but if you want some of our designers that can do an even better job than this, you can reach out to us and we can give you an estimate based on what you want to do. But even custom websites, they'll take us quicker, they'll take us cheaper. It's a no-brainer option right now, especially once this can truly fully replace CoreForce. But in the meantime, to build your home pages, your range management pages, your class booking pages, your contact us pages that connects back into the service module, to control the rest of your website and acquire gear connected to your existing CoreForce, it's a no-brainer.
And I think that brings up another point. If you're an existing CoreForce customer and maybe you want to start using Coreware, you totally can. You can create all your static pages and everything else. You can create it in the new platform and just have a shop our products link that takes them to just a shop subdomain where it just shows the products. And again, it's totally up to you, right? Totally up to the customers. We don't have distributor feeds right now. If you don't have distributor feeds, as soon as, again, I think we're aiming for this week, but worst case, it's beginning of next week, we'll have the ability to feature products. You can see it's already there. It's just we're cleaning it up a bit, obviously, we want to make sure right now it doesn't even look like it's part of that same theme. So that's some of the customizations that we're just adding right now. So you can actually create a full checkout of products. So if you've got just local inventory and you don't care about distributor feeds, starting next week, you'll be able to start using this platform to sell local product. You can already do your range management classes, waivers, any forms, all of that. It's already built into the system.
Yeah, and the form builder is incredibly huge. I mean, just a meeting we were on yesterday talking to an existing client. They've used AutoWaiver, they've used Smart Waiver, they've used a million waiver platforms that cost them a ton of money. And they have access, and they're literally building their waivers today in this system because they're so sick of all of the one-trick ponies, the integration issues. And it's so simple. When I showed it to them, they were shocked by how simple it was just to start building forms. I mean, we even have templates set up for waivers already.
That's awesome, Josh.
It's in the form builder, sorry. But yeah, I mean,
sharing the I don't know if you were trying to show something, but
yeah, I'm on the wrong tab. I was showing the wrong thing anyway, so
that's a dad
no worries there. That is, yeah. I learned from the best.
Yeah, and I don't know if Adam and Cole, you can, if he's here or not, but we do have the employee-specific forms that you can build now, which is really, really cool. So, and I may touch on that today. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm touching on, if I touch on anything, because we're already a bit ways into this, and a lot of really, really good information. But to hear this for us, again, we're our own customers, and that's the forms. Are you showing?
Yep, that's where you would see the forms that are assigned to your internal employees, and to actually create the forms inside the websites, forms, move over to the form builder. What you can also do, let me just go back from here, is use Corey for the entire form generation as well.
Yeah. And again, everyone, I'm serious when I say that Josh had literally no train. I barely, I sent him a couple quick videos on a few things, but not even on the forms. And my point of sharing that, it's so important because, again, sometimes things look scary and no, I can't do this, but literally don't do the okie. Just go click around, build a form. You're not harming anything, right? You may not use it, but just go try it. It's so easy. And one of the things I didn't even share with you, Josh, so the way employee forms are different is they won't show up in submissions. So, I'll explain the reason why. And I might as well tell you, because if you're doing a demo, you'll be like, oh no, the form didn't work. Well, if you think about it, what would you use an employee form? Like, what's an example? So an example is I need everyone at Coreware to sign the employee policy book, right? Well, there may be information in that form that they need to fill out we don't want anyone but HR to see. So that's why we keep employee submissions. They're not those forms. It's as if they didn't exist, but if you have access to our HR module, you'll see them there. Sense. For example, I did a test one of shirt size. I mean, shirt size, sure, it's not something that sensitive, but at the same time, nobody needs to know that, I wear a, 3XL or, that might be data that your employee just doesn't want other people to see in general. So that's why that's so important that we actually separated that type of form. And it's really cool because you can assign, I want you to show that, but you can assign, you can basically say, here's the forms and who do you want to assign that form to? You can say all employees, this department. So it's really, really cool. But yeah, go ahead, Josh, show, you brought something up.
That was an example of me clicking buttons. I went over to this page to show everyone click buttons, create stuff, because you can trash everything. I've created probably like 10 forms in here that are all gone now because they're just garbage. I don't really need them. It was just me playing with them. But this is super cool. I don't know how I've never clicked on this button, but this is the QR code to get me to my range waiver.
Yep. Yep.
And we can see it here.
Bam.
You
So
can tell
freaking
this is a
cool.
copy from when I was in Kansas at Gun Bros.
That's awesome.
Yeah, super cool stuff. Definitely, if you guys haven't yet, just bounce around. You won't see as many options as I do on my left-hand side, but the options you will see, just play with. You'll learn it faster than any of our other software platforms. It's so simple. And if you have questions, just chat to us. Super, super easy. And we'll get right back to you. We'll let you know how it works. We'll let you know if something's broken. And even some of the bugs I'm finding now, I'm on a server that has a lot more features enabled versus, an active client, so that I can test and play with the system. All of my service requests, even mine, which I go ignored at times inside the company, by I'm sure you can guess who, even my service requests get answered and fixed within a day. So, and I will say, Dad, Oki does beat you.
I'm behind 100%. I'm way behind right now. Just to let everyone know, I've had my head buried in, I'm sure everyone will be happy to hear, I've had my head buried in point of sale. I've been living, eating, breathing, register screen, some other stuff too, but then purchasing. So I'm not ignoring everyone. Just for all of our employees, keep sending requests. I don't care if I have 100 of them, keep sending them through. And yes, Oki's beating me, but I'm doing a ton more than Oki. No, I'm just kidding.
He's in the chat talking trash, and he's not even on the camera. Like,
yep.
Oh, wow. 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 All right. I'll be reading that chat, Oki.
I had to toot his horn because I've come to him with a couple things over the past few weeks, and it's literally within a minute to 2 minutes, it's done. And it's insane how quickly it's been going.
Wow. He doesn't listen to my requests that way. So yeah, we'll have to have a talk, Oki.
It's funny,
now
Ezra.
that you have a
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say it kind of pisses me off, to be honest. There's a slight part of me as a developer that kind of pisses me off that these things are so easy to turn around now. I think of all the hours and hours wasted.
That's actually a really good segue. Josh, was there anything else that you wanted to share? Because I think that was really, really good and helpful. So speaking of Colt, it's a perfect segue. What I wanted you to share a little about, because up till recently, obviously we've spent many years together with you developing stuff, and you ended up being me, right, to an extent, meaning you went from developing stuff to the joy of managing people and managing customers. And I'm not knocking it, but sometimes, you miss the times when you get to create. If you're a developer and you enjoy your job, and that's why I'm truly having the best time of my life right now, because I haven't been able to code for so long, because I got so busy at Sport South with trying to manage things and implement things. And, and that's why you came on board, right? One of the reasons I needed developers. And, but now you kind of share the same experience as me, where, you've spent now probably a few years where you're still kind of looking at code, helping debug, helping isolate, but it's not the same as creating, right?
Yeah.
But recently we've been able to free you up enough. And I figured, hey, why don't I kind of pass the baton on what I think is an underutilized module that's available to everyone. And again, many people don't even know that it's there because it's just a little button on the screen. But I figured this might be a good time for you to just walk everyone through, because we've never talked about it a lot and what the benefits are, and why, to me, this is an exciting module that, again, I think everyone could be using. It's there for you to use. There's no extra cost to it.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is the notes module, which is a little icon up here. It's a little notebook that's opened up, just so that people know where to find it at. So this is the notes module, notebooks module, whatever. And it's kind of something that Ezra kind of started up just randomly, and then I was like, oh, that's really cool, because I use notes every day. Like, I'm either writing handwritten notes, or I've got, like, I went through a dozen or so different software apps to put notes in. And the problem I always had with every single note system is that there's this one has a really good feature, does this really well, but it's missing this key feature that I really like, or this one's doing this one. And so, like, when Ezra set this up and everything, I started using it like almost instantly and started hammering him with service requests. And it finally got to the point he was like, "Oh, just take it over. you go handle it." So, so this is our notes module. And think of this as, I say it's a notes module. It's a little bit more Transformers, more than meets the eye here, because there's so much that you can include within a note. You can set up, I don't want to say forms, but you can set up documents and SOPs and stuff like that, which is kind of what we're also doing to an extent here. So right here, like starting out, like we've got these are called collections. So there's kind of a tier down in the notes. So there's like a collection, and a collection can be what we call multiple notebooks, right? And then within a notebook, you can have multiple pages, and you can even have sub pages on a page. So it kind of gets kind of needled down and everything. So what we're looking at here is just a main view. This is all the notebooks that I have. This is our actual one. These are like my daily notes that I have. You can pin notes up here to the top. And that way it kind of keeps notes, specific notes separated. There's also filters down here. You can tag notes. That was something I implemented recently, to where I can put specific tags on notes, and you can actually see, all those that are specifically tagged, in a grouping. Again, you can do collections, which is a collection of series of specific notebooks that you want. So like this one in here, this is just like our SOP for our support that was going through. And one thing that, Ezra, I don't think I even showed you yet, is you'll notice these icons up here at the top. This is actually a collaborative page.
Oh, cool.
It's a collaborative notebook. So you can see I didn't even tell them to do this, but there's 3 people in here right now looking at this note. And so it's collaborative. So like they can, go in here and make changes to it and take a look at it. So like if I go to this settings here, there's an option, real-time collaborative. So you can actually go through and see that. So it'll show you who's looking at that note and everything too, and when they're working and making edits on it. It's not quite to the level of like a Google Sheets or something where you can see their cursor and everything yet, because that does take some more server power on that kind of stuff. But maybe one day eventually. But yeah, so you can see the notes. There's also all kinds of different tools that you can use within setting up the notes. Again, this shows you your little tags, your tags up here. These are settings for the notebook itself, not necessarily just this individual note. So you're in this notebook support, and this is the setting for support. So you can see you can set different colors. You can set up a cover image that shows up on the list view there, your own little description. Setting up specific templates. Like I keep meaning to do this, but like my daily meetings and stuff like that kind of flow the same way. So I need to set up an individual template to like have, hey, this day, this time, this and that, put up specific notes and to-dos and tracking stuff. But you can set up templates. You can download them. You can link other people to them so they can see that. You can export them. And one thing, I don't think it's live yet, but something else I've been working on is being able to, like, if you have an existing note in like Microsoft Word that you want to pull over into this, you can do that and have it still kind of keep the same formatting with the bullet points and the tables and stuff like that. So that's not live yet, but it's coming soon. But one thing that one of the first things I added in here was something that was, for me, was I wanted to add, because like with my meetings, so like you type a /, you have all these little different filter blocks. So headings, to-do list. To-do list is the one I usually do because I'm usually checking things off and going back and seeing things. But then I added this contact card. So this is something that I have in here. So like if I have a meeting with someone specifically, I can, you know, search for them. I don't know if Mason's watching or not, but so it can pull in here a specific contact card. And that way I can actually start taking notes while I'm talking to them and everything. And if I have something specific that was like, cool. Okay, I want to, let me, this actually, you can't see it because it popped up in a separate window. But I can bring up a window specifically to that contact. And if there was anything specific that they asked me about, or I needed to look up for that customer, I have it at the click of a button. So then I can just start taking notes, you know, hit enter, start taking multiple notes every time I hit enter. And then as I check them off, it checks off the tasks, all that good stuff. And then there's, as with everything, there's Corey, you know, built in for AI. I can add sources, so it needs sources to go off of, which would be like what that I'm feeding it and everything. But I can ask it different stuff like when's and do this live. Last time I had a touch point for peace of mind, something like that. And the idea is that it can go in there and trying to look through and see the last time I touched it. But of course, I haven't really filled that out yet. So, but that's with everything. You know, you have the AI built in for sources, reaching out. There's a reaction emojis here. So like there's different stuff that you can add on there, so you can see that people reacted to your note, because that's the other thing. It's not just personal notes. It also is expanded to community company-wide notes. So you can share your notes across, you know, specific people, and everything. And I don't think we have it yet, but one thing that we're going to be doing is sharing to a specific audience, which is pulled in from the audience for the context module and everything as well. So let me take one here. So like if I go to create a new notebook, I can set it to private or company. So say if I want to do company, I'm going to do that. And I'm the owner of this notebook. So I'm sharing it with the company, but I'm the owner. So I can determine, you know, how it gets set up and everything, the title, the descriptions, all that good stuff. But then if I go back and I go edit this notebook, I can set it up to where, I'm trying to remember, I haven't done this in a second. So I'm trying to remember where we did it for the specific audience. Oh, it's collection. Yeah. So collection, because I just did this the other day. Anyways, I'm blanking now. It's brain farts we were talking about earlier. There is a way to specify which notebook has who can access which notebook or which page and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's in the share. If you click the share in the top there,
right
where
right.
You're at. Yeah.
Yeah. So there it goes. So this specific this is a perfect example because we just did this internally. So this is for an SOP. So it's shared with the company, so everybody in the company can view it, but they have view only access. But we wanted myself and Ron and Oki to be able to edit it, so they can edit this document, but the customer service team can view it only. So they can't go in and make changes to it, but they can see it. So you can specify specific users and teams even. So teams is another one. So we have built out, and this is all, again, pulling in from the contacts module and everything, so that you have all those things that you've already built out going across the entire platform. So I could go in here and add the enterprise team and say that they can comment. Comment just means they can view and comment on it, or they can just view and add that person in there. So that way, they can see it. So that's kind of makes it a little more handy there, is being able to, add adjusted accessibility, but not let everybody just go in there and start editing that note. But yeah, and there's a couple of other things awesome. Planning on it, but that's kind of the gist of it. There's an import feature as well for importing a specific notes. I think you had set that one up.
Yeah, from Notion.
Yeah, from Notion and all that.
Hey, Cole.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Are there links?
That's really cool. Oh, it's funny. I want to make sure that, Joel, that you're alive, because this is one of those modules that I would think you would be using. Are you using it?
No, you were almost going to say it right when you said should be using. Yeah, I like it. I'm not using it as much as I should, but Dean had a really good question. If you've ever used Obsidian, Colt, there's a way to link notes, because a lot of times you may get 40,000 words into a note that you want to link back to a previous note within that note. You know what I'm saying? Will there ever be anything like that?
Like linking to an existing note, like referencing existing
within the note.
Yeah, like referencing. That makes sense.
That's a really good suggestion. Yeah, I would definitely get that added in.
Thanks, Dean. And also, I would like to respond to Eric. Eric, don't blame the guys. I told them we can give 3 or 4 minutes for people to show up, right? And that nobody will care. And I owe each of those guys $20 because they said, I guarantee you somebody's going to say something about it. So it was all my fault.
Wait, what? I totally did not follow that. Who do we owe $20 to?
Eric, I owe you guys $20 because you told me, hey, save all the fun stuff for the last. And I'm like, no, these guys, we got to give people time to show up. And you guys, I'm telling you, somebody's going to say something. And so I owe each of you $20 because you tried to talk me out of having the entertainment first. But I'm sorry. Hey,
well,
also,
we can always do a break and show it again.
Hey, no, seriously, I wanted to hop in also, and I don't know if you're done, Colt, or were you going to share?
Yeah, I was wrapped up.
If people are not like super excited about custom agents, right? I know it's like, well, this is boring work stuff. Hey, if you've got a YouTube channel and you haven't been using some sort of a solution to get transcripts, can you see where that's going? Where you can literally educate your custom agent with the transcripts of all your videos, linking back to those videos. If you've got product in your shop that's $5,000 that you move kind of regularly, but you want to get you want to educate your business's AI on those products, right? To drive more sales of those high price items. That's where a video comes in, right? You
100%.
You do like a review, go take the transcript where you're talking about every aspect of that product, educate your robot, and then have your custom agent start promoting product. Like if somebody's coming in asking what's a really good concealed carry option, you can tell your robot what to tell the person, right? It's not just about, hey, what are your hours, right? What are your holiday hours or anything like that? Really start thinking way outside the box, because that's where this stuff's going. And I've been saying this for 3 or 4 years. If you're not making videos, you're just shooting yourself in the face, right? Because every piece of data that you create, AI will be using one day, right? And you can weaponize all of that data to work for you later. And all those videos that you could have been using, right, the transcripts or whatever, they're gone because you didn't start. But now you can start doing videos, start doing reviews, start talking about, the culture of your shop. All that stuff is an easy way to educate your robot. And this blew my mind. I didn't know we were working on this, but this is literally where it's going, right? You can have unpaid employees that are constantly working for you. They don't sleep, they don't eat, they don't breathe, right? It's like the Terminator. Well,
totally
not yet.
And we actually, speaking of, this reminds me, I was literally going to message you about this earlier and I totally forgot, because we need to take the transcripts, especially like the compliance corner transcripts, so we can feed our custom agent. We may create a Tony custom agent.
Compliance Tony.
So people,
or Tony compliance.
Yeah. And I already have a built-in agent, but anyway, I'll need those transcripts at some point
Gotcha.
from you. So just a little side note. And then next time, on our next coreBLAST, I'm going to challenge you to show everyone how you decided to use this amazing notebook module.
Yeah.
Colt, he's talking to you.
You
No.
sure about that?
And then I'm going to give everyone a little teaser. I don't know if it'll be in the next coreBLAST or next, but Colt's working on something that I think is going to be really exciting. I
knew you wouldn't be able to go without mentioning it.
But yeah, I'll mention it. I'm not. I say we don't even show it. Don't even give any hints. I'm just saying we'll let everyone know. But we're going to it's something.
Can
really,
you tell
really
a
exciting.
little bit, just like what area it involves?
So it actually involves. So actually, I will mention that. So part of what Colt, myself, the team, we've been working on. I keep talking about this, right? We have Coreware as the platform sitting in one place, right? But at the same time, what I mean, if you haven't noticed, you've been living under a rock, right? We've been modernizing CoreForce while we're doing everything else, right? Because we have many customers on CoreForce, and we completely replaced the search functionality. We've completely replaced the checkout, which is phenomenal. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. The whole checkout process, and there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes. So, I love rumors. And I know there's rumors circulating out there that, they're not paying any attention to their current stuff. That's the furthest thing from the truth. We've got a bigger and better team than we ever had working on CoreForce. And we say that very, very confidently. And everything we're doing, we're going to make sure to leverage, right, when we move things over. But in the meantime, we're not abandoning, we're not ignoring, and in fact, we're enhancing. So the next big step for modernizing CoreForce is specifically what Colt is actually working on and building. And I saw it, and it's really exciting. And that's all I'm going to say. It will be worth it. So we'll make sure the coreBLAST that will feature this, we'll literally title it as next step in modernizing CoreForce. So someone remember that, Joel. Put that in your notebook right now, right?
Robot.
One of the next coreBLASTs, yeah. And remember, Colt, this is what we'll test them on. And again, I'm not saying it'll be in the next coreBLAST. It may be in the next 2 or 3, but it'll be it's really, really exciting.
Wait, what's it going to be on? I'm
Nice.
just joking. I'm just joking.
Yeah. So I think will excite everyone, and
I think so.
And again, it's one of these things. It's not going to break anything. It's just going to enhance your lives tremendously in many ways. So that's all we're trying to do: make things better and better.
Yes.
For even our legacy systems, that we call them legacy because obviously we're transitioning, right? We're moving to this new platform, but we're balancing. It's a balancing act. And knock on wood, so far it's been a good. Everyone was like, Ezra, what the hell are you doing? When I described to everyone, they're like, wait, explain that again. How are we doing this? How are we pulling this off? And knock on wood, so far so good. So yeah, that was really, really cool. All right. Thank you, Cole.
Absolutely.
So I don't even know how long we've been going, but
Hour 45.
I do want to share and again, famous last words. I really am not going to make this a very prolonged coreBLAST. I mean, 2 hours is pretty darn good, but I think there's a couple of things that I wanted to show. A couple of them I'll do a deep dive, and a couple of them I specifically won't do a deep dive, but I just want to get people excited. So what I'm going to do first, and Joel, I've got, I'll end up with, you'll see 2 shared screens. So the one that I want you to bring up is actually the one that is in dark mode. Perfect. All right. So I promised a while ago, and again, the good news is I try not to forget these commitments, but we did a really deep dive, and there's a really good coreBLAST on the contacts module, which is massive, right? There's a lot to the contacts module and everything that you can do with it. Specifically today, I just wanted to talk about employees, and we did a couple of quick CorePals on the employees, but again, these CorePals are just a single kind of topic, and I just want to walk everyone through just how to set an employee up, how to set up permissions, because again, I don't think we've covered that. And now that we have customers, more and more customers that are starting to use different pieces of the application, I think it would be good to look through that. Do you agree, Joel? Okay, don't answer me. I don't care. I mean, if you want to ignore me, Joel, you can do it all.
I'm trying to find the contacts module. I would like to share that so that they can have access to it.
What do you mean? You're sharing it right now.
No, the one that you just mentioned. So they have access to it. Yeah.
You want to share the core?
I'm just going to share the link. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I don't.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I don't know if it was one of. It was a while ago, obviously. But yeah, I think that would be good to share. Okay. So thank you. So you can ignore me. Yeah. Yeah, you always ignore me, Joel. So we'll just dive right into the employees, right? And we've got, this is just our playground module. So there's literally, you'll see some employees. You'll even see possibly some customers I see here, which is awesome. So when you're ready to create an employee, all you need to do is add an employee. You can also import employees, and that will walk you through an import process, but we'll just go to add an employee. And there's not much information you need to add when you're setting up an employee. So I'll just set up just a miscellaneous. And you definitely want to make sure you put their email address in. So I'll just put example.com so we don't get any. And that's really all the information you need. Again, and the reason why it's not the email's not required, but if that employee is going to be given access to your Coreware, you need to have at least an email address, but you can also, put a phone number in, right? And you're ready to go. And what you can do is you can do two things at this point. You can just create the employee, or you can create and send an invite, right? So what that does is that will email them an invite to the actual Coreware application. So a few other things I'll just point out. As you're adding employees, can assign an automatic employee number. You can also change that. You can specify whether they're active, inactive, on leave, or terminated. You can specify their nickname. And that happens a lot. Colt is an example. So that's not his official HR name, right? But he prefers to be called Colt. So that's an example of where I'd use that nickname. Employee type, I can specify whether it's a full-time, part-time, contract, intern, or temporary employee. Under employment information, I can actually choose what department they work in, what division, their job title and job ranks. You'll see the plus sign where I can actually, if I don't have any departments, I can just add a sales department, for example, whatever other departments that I want to add. Again, if you've got divisions, you can do divisions. Your job titles, again, you can maintain those. Job ranking, who they report to, the hire date started. Is more for foreign entities. There's a date regularized date of separation, and then we also automatically, you can put in their PTO balance as well as their sick days, the balance, right, when you're setting them up. The other thing you can do is you can choose what location, if you have multiple locations, right? So we only have one location called Coreware Playground here on this one, which I'm going to criticize the staff, like, in the playground, why hasn't anyone created another location? Seems kind of strange to me, but in this case, we only have one location. So everyone's doing the Okie, right? This playground is supposed to be where our employees are trying things out and testing, and wow, one location. Make a note of that, Joel. So you can also enter their schedule. This is what that CorePal that we did. And this becomes really powerful. And what you can do is you can just quickly say, hey, they're working a standard week. You can use Corey to say, they work Tuesday through Friday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Right? So I can literally use Corey just to parse out a schedule. I can talk to it, and it will go ahead and literally set that schedule up for me. I can also change it by the day. So if they have a different schedule each different day, or on certain days they work at certain times, we do that quite a bit at Coreware. I can also add a lunch time if you do give lunch, and I can also add breaks, right? So if your company policy is they get a 15-minute break every 4 hours, and then there's an hour lunch, you can totally specify all of that, right? So again, that becomes really powerful. I'll just go ahead and create this and also send an invite. Again, it's not going to go anywhere as far as the invite, since I used just a test, right? So at this point, now that I've created this employee, again, I'll just use Joel as an example. I can go back in, and there's some more features that I can do here. This is where things become, even more powerful. I've got my user account, and this is what I wanted to focus on. So Joel is an active user, meaning he's an employee, has access to this whole playground area. I can choose whether I give Joel administrative access, which basically gives him access to everything. And I'll go ahead and just turn that on for now, because I'll explain what that does in a second. So you've got the ability to send a reset password. So if Joel forgot his password, again, really important, Coreware does support the single sign-on, which means that, for example, if you as a company, meaning you, our customer, as a company, if you use Gmail, or I believe, I don't know if it's live yet, but we also will support Outlook 365. If you're using either one of those, you can just have your employees sign in using their Gmail address, and it will authenticate them. Or, maybe you don't have a company email provider, but your employees all have personal Gmail addresses. They can actually sign into the system using their Gmail. The minute you put that email in and they go in and just put their email address, they can just literally sign in using their, I think everyone's experienced this. It's a whole lot easier and more secure to have your users authenticate themselves using something like their Gmail account, or, there's all kinds of SSOs available these days. Some people can use their Facebook or Apple accounts, etc. And we'll be expanding it, but for now we support Gmail and Microsoft Outlook. So you can do that. You can still assign a user, an actual user, and a typical password. Here's something that's really important that you do want to go in and start setting up is your PIN numbers, right? So we want to make sure that we have PIN numbers assigned to anyone that's going to be using the cash register. So you can put in a 4 to 6 digit PIN. And what happens when you're using the actual point of sale, if you have it set to request that user to log in after each transaction, because everyone's using the same terminal. You have 4 employees, but you still want to track every transaction. The nice thing is you can just have them use their PIN. We will also make sure to add the facial recognition support, which we currently support in CoreStore. But some people still prefer, they don't have a webcam on their register. So it's much, much easier. Just, hey, put in the PIN, and it's super quick, right? Because speed is of the essence in a point of sale environment. So that's where the PIN number is very important. So if you remember, I set Joel as an system administrator. So here's all of our current permissions, and we will get a whole lot more granular. But typically, even for a system administrator, we don't necessarily give them access to the actual employee module. So sometimes you still have to actually mark that separately. Again, typically you don't want to give your users access to the employee module. That doesn't mean that they can't access the time clock, but the overall employee module, definitely you as an owner, or if you have someone handling your payroll and HR, those are the only people that you want to give that employee access to. So that's really important. So typically you would say no access.
Sorry, Okie. I tried, man.
What did you try?
To give him a raise when you gave me that access. And I couldn't figure it out. Yeah. We had a deal going.
Sorry, Okie.
Okie, do you want to come back on the screen?
Yeah, bring him back on the screen.
There he is.
I've been sitting there all by myself, just waiting.
I'm so sorry, man.
So rude. Awesome. So at this point, you can save these permissions. And again, right now we have a permissions based on pretty much module by module, right? And it's full access, read only, and no access. This will become much, much more granular, similar to what we do with the CoreStore and Core4 system. Both of those systems have very granular permissions, and that's absolutely coming. The next thing that we can do is we can enroll this employee in facial recognition, which we've already done with Joel. But if you haven't, you can either use a photo, you can also open your webcam or grab a screenshot as well. So if you're, for example, you've got a remote employee and you're meeting with them, you just want to grab a photo of their face, while you're meeting with them, you can actually grab that screenshot. And again, we can link the CorePal that we did with the time clock. Super fun one. But that can be used for the time clock. So you can just walk up to the time clock and it will clock you in. It will ask you, if you're ready to clock out, etc. Makes it a whole lot faster and easier in terms of keeping track of the time in and out time for employees. So the next thing that you can look at is, and again, this actually will probably flip it around, documents and then activity log. So documents is where you can actually assign a form to an employee, and I'll also show you how to assign a form to multiple employees. But this is where that employee information will show up once they fill that form out. So we'll actually try to do one, and Joel, keep paying attention because I'm using you as my example. So we may just have you fill out a form. Activity log, you'll start seeing this throughout the entire system. And that activity log is just showing, especially important for the employee module, but literally you'll start seeing this throughout the whole system. I know I've shown it before, but I'll bring it up again because this is really important. It will show me who did what when, right? So that's what the activity log is. Who did what when, right? Who created this employee, who edited them. In this case, I just created them. I have not hit update, so there's no activity yet for what I'm doing today. Shows you the date when I created Joel was, hey, I created you, Joel, March 8th. Wow. I'm like a proud papa.
Thanks.
On some days.
That was funny. That was funny.
Oh my God, I amuse myself sometimes. So the activity log is really, again, very powerful. So what is being done, whether it's in products, whether it's contacts, anywhere, just keep your eyes out for this activity log. It's extremely powerful. So again, I can update this employee. And now that I updated this employee and we created that other employee, if I look, I should be able to see, yes, I've got 2 employees. Remember John Williams, who I just added, and Joel, who I actually have a schedule for. And this is really helpful. I can also separate it by either looking at a specific location. Hey, Joel, look, there's still only one location here. I was just curious to see. Oh, I bet everyone's going to say, Ezra, we don't have access to add locations. We're going to check that. And Playground, I think you do. So, yeah, I don't know. You would think someone would have created another location. But I'm not going to harp on it any more than I already have. You can also choose by department in terms of just narrowing down and seeing the employees for a specific department. That's really helpful. But I can also look at the heat map, which is what we talked about in the CorePal. And if I scroll down, right, I can actually see how many employees are working at any given time at any given day, right? So that's really helpful because I can see that 2 p.m. to, let's see, 5 p.m., I've got 2 employees Tuesday through Friday, right? So again, this becomes really helpful for scheduling and for adjusting your schedule. And what we talked about in that CorePal was if you take this and map it against, you also put side by side your screens and look at your sales heat map, right? You can actually see your busy times during the day, and you can narrow down that heat map to show me just the sales traffic for my actual store as opposed to online orders, right? So again, super powerful. It's right on the sales dashboard here. Again, we don't have a lot of data because it's just the playground. But if I scroll down, again, not very exciting heat map. But I can see
probably
that
could have left all my work orders in there that I deleted this morning because I had about 100 work orders in playground.
yeah, that would have been nice. So, great job, team, playing on the playground. You've got 4 orders in here. And that's for, I think, year to date. Wow. Okay, there's more. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? So, yeah, I give shit to everyone. I'm going to give shit to our Coreware staff. This is called a playground. Hey, Joel, can you make sure you share the don't do the Oki internally, so literally maybe people won't do the Oki?
I will.
Yeah, and everyone can say, hey, but Ezra, we don't have a register to play with. Okay, but you have the counter sales, so you can do counter sales. All right, I'll stop my bitching. Anyway, I want to see a lot more data in our sales. Yeah, no, it's more fun. Hey, so everyone who's watching, I mean, especially all you business owners, we all share the common struggles, right? We have great employees, don't get me wrong, and everyone's very busy, I know, but yeah, let's step up and put in more data in our playground. It will help you learn the system, in all seriousness. All right, so that heat map again becomes a really important tool. A couple of other things that I do want to share in terms of employees. So we do have the time clock. And again, we can put a link to, we did that CorePal that showed off the time clock, but I do also want to show the time off. So time off is where you can manage your policies for time off. And then in the time clock module, employees can put in a request for time off. So again, just click the buttons and you can create a new policy, and you can say this is, my annual vacation policy. And in here, you can say, is it a fixed amount per year? How does it accrue? The accrual amount, let's say, is per year is 0.2, right? And the max annual, max carryover, right? So meaning we maybe start with a 5-day type vacation, but then you can accrue 0.2, every year, beyond that. So that way in 5 years, you get an extra. Wow, that's not very generous of me. So I don't know, maybe it's 1 per year or something. So once you save that policy, that's just stored as an actual, and you can have multiple policies. This is also where you'll see your pending approvals. And you can also see all the requests. So far, nobody's asking for vacation, which is great because we have a lot of work to do. So no vacation, everyone, sorry. But that's where you can actually see what requests have come in. You can also set, certain policies in terms of how long of a time, right? You don't want someone asking for vacation if it's Monday and saying, hey, I want to take a vacation this week, right? Because that becomes inconvenient for, that's different from personal time off or sick days. But, typically vacation from an HR standpoint, you want to make sure you have certain policies, a certain amount of time before someone can ask to be off. That way you can adjust everyone else's schedule to make sure that you have coverage, for that person. So all of that's handled in the system, and we're just going to keep building on top of these HR features. So a couple of other things, I mentioned the time clock. You can actually open the time clock as a kiosk, right? So that opens it up in the whole just separate kiosk mode, but you can also just operate your time clock right from here. Again, keep in mind, you typically wouldn't want to operate it from here. This is more for your HR staff, right, to manage the time clock entries. Does that make sense? Because obviously your employees don't have access to this, but they would have access to the time clock kiosk.
You just
which
want
is
them to
right
be
here.
able to clock in and out, not
Yep.
manipulate their time.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So, so back on this, your time clock, you can also use it as a bulletin board in terms of being able to set messages. So if you want to say SIG rebate week, right? So this week SIG is offering 5% off, right? And literally you can schedule this, right? Which is nice. So I can create that bulletin and it shows it's active. You can give it a start date and an end date, and that will show up, right on your time clock. So something I put in the dates, right? Let's see. I wonder if I didn't. I may need to, let's see. It says it's active. Show it from.
Good morning. Say clock in followed by your name to get started.
Oh, quiet down. I've got Corey asking me to clock in. What's the date? Oh, let's just say, I'm going to backdate this. 14. And we can just say, all right, save changes. Hopefully that will work. Oh, nobody's paying attention. I wasn't sharing my screen. So all I did was I edited my from schedule and made sure that it was correct. And now if I refresh and share the kiosk.
Good morning. Say
You'll
clock
see-
in followed by your name to get started.
Yeah, and I've got Corey talking in my ear. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but
We can
she's
hear him
asking
too.
me to.
Yeah, we
okay.
hear. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, you've got the announcement here, and there's some other really cool features that you can do with the time clock, and I'll just point them out. So let me go back and share this tab, and actually I will close the time clock so we don't keep hearing the voice. Let's see. So you can do multiple bulletins back at the time clock. You've got some settings here, and you can actually, there's some additional bulletin board settings here, and this is kind of a neat one. I don't know, you can try it out if you want, but you can literally set up automatic, not just bulletins that you put, but you can set up, I don't know, you want to set up a motivational type message that shows up in the morning, and midday you want to change that message. So this is where you can just give it some instructions. What should we do, Joel? You're better at the creative side. What
You tell people that their attitude determines their
Okay.
altitude.
Well, this is your general. It's going. This is just the instructions. Like
Tell them to get off their phones and start selling.
give a motivational message that encourages our employees to focus, be kind, and sell a lot of stuff. I don't know. So that's my morning. That would be my morning message. And we'll just, I don't know, I'll just, because I'm not in a creative mood, I'm just going to say it for all of these. And what this will do is it actually does, use Corey to come up with different messages. So let's see, let's save it. And now if I go back to, and again, there's some other features here in terms of the time clock, several other features, and I can go through some of those, but most of these, have an explanation of what they do. But let's go back to our time clock. It's funny, I haven't really looked at our time clock settings in a while. Let me open up the kiosk and let's see if it hopefully comes up with our motivational message. So
Good
share
morning.
it.
Say
There we go.
clock in followed by your name to get started.
Good morning, team. Today is another opportunity to shine as we dive into our tasks. Oh, you went too fast. Where is it? All right. Let's focus on what matters most. Wow. I think there's a place where I can change the timing on this, but yeah, we need to. Anyway, you can see it's little kindness goes a long way. It's giving me a nice message. It's automatically switches between the bulletin and between your motivational message. And I think there's a setting there we'll have to dig through. So that's kind of cool. It looks like it gave a nice little message. And you can just, again, go in, let's say once a month, and just give it a different prompt. And keep in mind, tomorrow that message will be different. It will have a different flavor to it, is the whole concept. So that's the whole idea is again, this is a great use of AI, right? Because it's like, oh, there's Ezra's message again. It's the same shit, different day, same shit, different day, right? So
I would
again,
say,
you can even tell it,
like
hey,
David Goggins.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be horrible. I'm just joking. Hey, is it switching back and forth on its own?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I've got to see. I think there's a place where you can put a timer on that, because the whole idea is, most employees will just walk in, they'll look at the screen, clock in, they're not going to hit any buttons or anything because they don't care. But by switching it, obviously, at least it might catch their eye, right? That was my reason why I did that. So, it's just kind of the start of what becomes, I think, something, really powerful. Just, you don't think of a time clock being more than just a time clock, right? But it truly can be. And we gave the whole demo. And again, if we can link to that CorePal where I can talk to the virtual agent to tell me about, company policies and different things. Again, I don't have that set up in this particular playground environment, but that's part of what you can do is you now have an HR agent that can talk to the employee, not just about the company policies, but specifically, for example, how many days do I have off right now? How many days do I have left in my PTO time? So it becomes just very powerful, because now you don't necessarily have to dedicate all that time, because you can just let the employees talk to the HR agent if they have just general questions. And we all know, as business operators, you do get a lot of questions from employees for good reason, right? They want to know different information. Some of the information they can access, through the employee portal side of things, but some of it, maybe things that they just have question about a specific policy that can be answered by an HR person, but also potentially, hopefully, can be answered by the agent. So cool. Any any questions before I
Phil had a
move
question.
on from this?
Like,
Yeah. Go ahead, Oki.
can you make a bi-weekly schedule for the employees where I can see the days and the shifts that need to be filled? I would have didn't we have a heat map, right? Heat map would show that if you did
Yeah,
a
the
bi-weekly.
heat map shows, but bi-weekly, it's not really a. We may have to dig in on the question. I mean, you're basically setting up your general employee schedule, and you can change it every 2 weeks if that's what you need to do.
Yeah, maybe some more clarification, Phil, on what you're looking for. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's trying to see like, okay, he's built out everybody's schedules, but like maybe there's a time that he wants to see, hey, do I have any gaps to see that I need to get filled in? I'm
that would be
Phil
the
will
heat map.
chime in.
Yeah, he'll show you who's
Yeah.
scheduled.
Yeah. And when you click this, it shows you who it is. So you can actually see which employees are working when. And again,
Is that employee ID on the little thing right there, the 1 and the 2?
no,
Or that's
the
too many.
number
That's
of
how many
employees.
people. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, I do have a
that's
question.
number, but
real quick.
you can hover over it. It also shows you.
Can you edit?
What's the
from
question,
that?
Joel?
If you click on it and you're like, oh, we don't want Joel working, let's put this guy in.
No, but that's a good idea. So this is just a reminder for any suggestions. You can put in a request right in our chat. There's an option to do a suggestion, or you can put it in as a request and we'll change it to a suggestion. But yes, just
Brian had this is probably way down the road, Brian, but does it have a way for employees to trade days? And that may be something that we can do like down the road, where
if I'm going to be on
Yeah.
vacation,
yeah,
you want to take my shifts, Joel, I'll take your shifts. type of
Yeah.
thing.
oh
Right.
yeah, those are all good suggestions. So yeah, keep all those suggestions coming to us. Some of it will react very quickly. Some of it we may just push off a little bit, but at the end of the day, with the new platform, they're not going to sit for long if it's a good idea. And again, everyone watching this, remember, please upvote suggestions, right? So if Brian brought up this trading idea, okay, sounds like it's a good idea, but how many people are interested in that? So go to the suggestions, and if we can make sure, Oki, to post a link of where people can see the current suggestions, that I think would be helpful, so everyone can start upvoting and downvoting ideas. Usually if it's anything from Colt, Oki and I try to make sure to downvote it. I'm just
Every
kidding.
time.
So Philip said he's
But-
using something called When I Work. Do you know about that, Oki or Ezra?
Well,
A program
again,
called When I
there's
Work.
just so everyone knows, there's a million one-trick ponies out there. It doesn't matter what you use. I never look at really competitors, whether it's on any level, because it doesn't interest me. And I'm sorry, everyone. I don't operate that way. And to all my competitors watching this video, just so you know, I really don't care what you guys do. I hope you're watching this and copying us. I don't care. At the end of the day, what I focus on is my background of systems and analysis and design is focusing on what people need and not so much about what people use and what they don't use. And again, all these one-trick ponies, they're going away. Sorry, that's called a SaaScopolis. So yeah, I guarantee you there's 50 different employee scheduling solutions out there. There could be 100, there could be 200, there could be 500. Especially with AI now, everyone's now going to build their own, right? Don't care. If you guys have suggestions, put in the suggestion, right? If there's a need, I'm not going to waste my time looking at one-trick ponies. Doesn't interest me. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's what they were essentially saying, because Brian had mentioned too. They also use When I Work. and they were talking about like they don't want to use it. They don't want to use the one trick pony. They want to
No, I know.
have it all in together.
Yeah. And my only point is Brian's texting me what he's using. I haven't looked a minute at it because, again, I'd rather spend my time focusing on, hey, how can we get you off of it? Like, just let us know what in here would you like? Employee trading, great. Come up with ideas of what would make your lives easier. That's what interests me, is what your needs are, not what some one trick pony's doing. It just doesn't help me at all. So yeah, just throw out ideas. Let us know what would help you. Our whole goal is, again, to help you cut your costs down and cut time down, and increase your profitability. For us, I'm built this really for Coreware. So, we don't have the same needs as a retail store, very different. We recognize that. So yes, we definitely encourage the ideas. So yeah, please don't take anything that I said as not interested in your input. Totally interested in the input. I just don't need to know names, or it doesn't really interest me. The best example is, our range management system and, the new scheduling module. We didn't look at a single competitive product out there, and it's phenomenal what we've come up with. It's because we focused on, how do we make this the best scheduling module out there, because we know a lot about it. We had our own, right? But we also know exactly, what we need to do. We've had input. We still are getting input from people, and that's what's making it so good. So your input is invaluable. So yes, absolutely. Let us know keep throwing out ideas, put them in the suggestions. My focus, so this is a module that I'm responsible for at the moment, is not this, but I am going to jump back into this because, again, Coreware needs this. We need to enhance several things for us too. So literally send us everything. And some things, we may look at and say that's kind of unique for this particular customer. Let's wait and see if we get more requests for this. But again, most things that people are throwing at us, we're implementing, and you can tell by the service module. It keeps expanding. It's because of your input, right? So we're eternally grateful for input. And not all input is good input, but all input is valuable input, right? Some ideas may not be good ideas. Some people think they have a good idea, but maybe it's not the greatest idea, but we still learn. And sometimes we see an idea and it's like, no, we can already do this. It's just, you may not have seen how to do it. So we need to make sure we enhance our system to make it more obvious how to do something. So that's as far as the employee side of things and the employee management. I think there is one other thing I do want to mention. So under settings, there are more settings here for the employees. And actually, I'll probably end up moving the settings for employee, although it's a little confusing, in terms of we're trying to move all settings to settings, right? There's a few cases where we may still have a setting in a certain area, but you've got employee settings under settings, and this is where you can, again, same time clock settings, and this is where you can create your teams. You can set up your employment types and departments and divisions and job titles. The one that I do want to point out is, especially for our customers that have quite a few employees, you can set up permission templates. And a permission template, is just helpful to say, hey, for my sales staff, I want to give access to, these particular, again, settings. This will be enhanced tremendously, but for now it's by module. So I only want to give them access to, let's say, the sales module, full access, and the contacts module, right? So you can actually set this as a template, and then you can assign that template to multiple employees at once. So and you can, again, for example, on contacts, you can, by default, just so everyone knows, you have to be a system administrator to access settings in the Coreware platform. And if you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. If your employee is not a system administrator, which you absolutely, you may have your store manager, and you know, it's someone that you trust, and you know, they can set things up, give them system administrator access. But typically, you know, you're not giving a lot of people that system administrator access. So once you save this template, creates the template, and then you can actually go to actions and apply this template to whatever employees that you want to assign that template to. So that's really helpful and easy, right? And you can literally narrow down by department and say, okay, just sales staff. Okay, John obviously is our only sales guy, so we can just choose him and then assign John this particular template. That's it. Super easy. So you'll see now we have one employee enrolled in that template. And I bet probably nobody has ever seen this one, even on the Coreware side. It's been around, but that's a really helpful setting, again, especially if you have a lot of employees, so you can very quickly manage those. All right. Oh, here we go. I'm still under 3 hours, Joel.
That is almost amazing.
All right. Let me, and again, I think we'll start wrapping this up. Famous last words, but I do want to give a glimpse to a couple of modules that literally we will be turning on very, 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 very soon. It will happen either towards the end of this week, or more than likely we'll do it on Monday. So let me just show you what's coming, and then we'll do the next coreBLAST. We'll go deep dive into these modules. So if you could, can you throw up, not throw up literally, Joel?
Already did.
Perfect.
Oh, your screen, and I threw up a little bit in my mouth.
All right. So we've got the purchasing module. That's your purchase order module. That will be releasing. You know, it's obviously a very important module for operating your business. This is where you'll be able to enter purchase orders, do your receiving, and you'll have the buyer assistant, the new version of the buyer assistant that is already looking a lot easier. I'm excited about that. I'll probably not even show that, but let's just go into show you how to do a quick receiving, just so everyone sees, because I don't know, I'm pretty excited about it because we've made it work, I think, really well. It's fast. So here's all my receivings that I've done, but we'll just start with a new receiving. And this is my receiving screen. I think we did did we do a CorePal on this, or
we
no?
did.
We did.
We
yes. Did. That was a test, Joel. That was a test. Cool. So we'll jump into it in a little bit more detail, because there's something really exciting that I didn't show. So I'm going to oops. That was not what I was intending to paste in there. Hold on. I thought I grabbed.
It's okay, though. You're not a pilot or a doctor. Those people you don't want saying oops.
All right. So I just pasted in a UPC code. You'll notice that it immediately tells me that it doesn't recognize this UPC, right? Because you just received it in the store. You've never carried this item. This happens all the time in retail. You don't enter purchase orders for everything, especially in most of our customers in the shooting industry. You know, maybe it's one of the distributor sales guys calls you and says, hey, I've got this ammo, right, that I've got for a great price. And you're like, yeah, send me a few boxes of that. So you can just click the search external catalog and immediately comes up. What's really cool, you'll see that this is a Sig Sauer 9mm Luger. The nice thing that you can do, you know, very quickly is you can immediately ask Corey to clean up your descriptions, right? So I can just click that and it will go through, it will shorten. And
Dude,
if you notice,
that is so freaking. I'm
Isn't
being
it?
serious right now. That right there, people don't understand. When you go to one of these gun store sites and you see all those freaking symbols and numbers and crap, and it's like, dude, just tell me what the freaking thing is. This is so cool and so easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Just click the button. And again, this is part of Corey, and Corey is using AI. AI has costs every time you use it, right? But you'll be able to see how much credits you have left. You'll be getting a certain amount of credits with us every month. And Joel, we are some exciting stuff coming is all I'll say in terms of our ability to really start even lowering costs of some of these actions. And, you know, again, my goal in life is to give our customers as much as possible, right? So if we can help a small business operate and use Corey throughout the month and they don't pay us an extra penny, that's amazing news to me. And as you grow and you use these things more and you use more AI and you're benefiting, yeah, it makes sense. You've got to cover our costs. We can't, you know, we're a for-profit business, but we want to do that. You know, where it gets exciting is when you as a customer, you're, hey, yeah, I'll get more credits. This thing is saving me hours of time, right? So yeah, we've got some exciting things happening that in the next coreBLAST, I may be able to share some of that. And we'll give you some real life examples of how we're going to be able to cut your usage to the point where you'll be able to compare. I'll even share a little bit of a teaser. Our image generation, Joel, is going to be cheaper than any current AI out there. So our cost per image, and if you look at the cost per image for Grok, for Gemini, for OpenAI, it hovers around the 2 to 4 pennies per image. And that's just real numbers, right? We'll be potentially in the sub penny is what we're hoping to achieve, which is massively significant, especially when you start multiplying numbers. So I'm super excited about that. I did a little bit of a segue, but we're pretty excited on what we're about to do. So you can just put your category in. I can put my cost in. So I got it for $23 a box. And at this point, I can just select this item. And of course, I've got a catalog validation error. But again, I can just very quickly enter this item. Again, I'm running on my local. I'm playing with things as we speak. Right before the webinar, I was messing around with some of the catalog and integration. And again, we've got different levels of catalogs that we're looking at. We've got our shooting catalog, but we also have a catalog of, I don't know, it's like 200 million different UPC codes that we have access to. So at the end of the day, you'll have access to this. You won't have to type stuff in, and you'll be able to create items very quickly. So let's just receive, and I think we should, I don't remember what we showed. I think I showed some of this in the CorePal, but in terms of receiving, for example, I've got my firearm, I've got my ammunition, I may want to receive, 5 of these. I've got 1 of these, or let's actually reverse it. I'll just say 1 of these and 5 of these. I can also just click here and quickly put in a number. So again, just very quick for you to manipulate things. For your non-firearms, you'll be able to change the cost, change the price right here. You'll also have some other information. You can set your margins, automatically calculate your retail price, especially if it's a brand new item that you've never had in stock. You could just quickly set all of that up. For your firearms, of course, you've got your bound book information. If you need to edit any of those details, you click Edit Details. And again, we show this off in the CorePal, but it's really easy. I can either select an existing supplier. So I know that, I don't know, who do I have in here? I think Orion Wholesale, for example. So I can select, an existing vendor. It will show me if their FFL has expired. So again, you'll see here it's green because their FFL doesn't expire till January 2028. The nice thing is the system will automatically check to see if there's an updated FFL, if it is expired. So you don't have to worry about, trying to go through and find that again. I can also very quickly add a new supplier. So again, I can add them manually. If it's an individual, I can scan in their driver's license. If it's a miscellaneous vendor, I can search for them in Google, and it will search based on, whatever company name, I can think of. So I'm buying something from, I don't know, IKEA or whoever, it will actually search through and find all that vendor information. So again, you don't have to manually enter any of that information. But of course, you also have your FFL actual database search. It will, even if you do the search and you find an FFL, it will alert you if that FFL is already in the system in case you didn't do the search. So if I search for, I don't know, Modern Warrior, you'll see once I do the search, it shows me all of the different Modern Warrior locations. I can just do a few things here. I can very quickly just copy their FFL number, which sometimes, that's all you're trying to do is get their FFL number. But you can also just select them and this will add that supplier. That's all information. You can still edit any additional information, create the supplier.
What if you needed to call them, Ezra?
So good question, Joel. Wow, you are paying attention. So that's something really unique with us is our FFL search includes a phone number and their website address. So that's not typically found in most FFL finders. You will find it in ours. And keep in mind, this FFL finder is the same finder that you'll be able to use on your website, right? So as you're selling items on your website, you'll have access to this FFL finder. That's, again, data is king, right? And being able to save yourself time from, oh yeah, here's the FFL, but I have to go pull them up in Google, try to call them because, the phone number's not there. So yeah, that's one of the big advantages. And just to show you that, again, we can pull up Modern Warrior again. doesn't matter. I can search by zip code. I can search by state. I can search by city. And it's extremely fast, and you'll see literally phone numbers right here. So that's, again, something really helpful. And time is money, and if you're dealing with a bunch of transfers, if you're dealing with, just a lot of web orders, think about it. If you've got 20 FFLs that you're contacting, a week, and you're spending 30 extra seconds trying to search for that, I mean, it adds up quick, right? Because that's 10 minutes, Joel? But 10 minutes a week, that gives you 10 extra minutes. That gives you, 40 minutes a month extra of just saved headaches.
Ezra's
and again, I'm just using
tired.
that as a simple example. Did I do the math completely wrong?
No, you asked me a math question.
Oh, okay. Good.
Ezra's tired and confused. Ask me a math question. Yeah, sure. It's 28 point banana.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's something just overall, really powerful, very clean, very easy to use. I mean, I hope everyone agrees. This is, just a very easy to learn screen. You can teach someone how to start receiving items in, I think, about 5 minutes. When you agree, Joel?
Yes, absolutely.
So once I process this receiving, you'll notice that, of course, it won't let me process it because I don't have a serial number. So I can actually scan the serial number in. I can manually enter it. I can enter a range of serial numbers. I can also do a bulk copy paste. So again, we have some manufacturers that are customers that literally they're dealing sometimes with hundreds or thousands of serial numbers because they're importing part of the gun or whatever they might be doing. So again, that's what that bulk import is there for. So again, I can say serial 1001 and I entered zeros. Oh, that was, maybe I am tired.
You are.
Because I didn't hit the enter key. So again, hit save. And at this point, I can just process this receiving and I'm done, right? And I can either start new receiving or keep going. This, of course, updated my acquisition. That shows right now. Here's my serial 10,001. Here's my acquisition information, my item information. All of that information is in the system. Again, we're still weaving a few things together, so there may be some missing information right now, but at the end of the day, that's the receiving process. Again, super easy, was always easy in CoreStore. We're just taking it to the next level and making it hopefully easier for everyone to do. So that's the receiving, and I will finish this because I know everyone is anxious to see our point of sale screen. And I'll just give a glimpse, and then our next coreBLAST will dive into purchasing. We'll dive in. And I think, Joel, you had said that I said something about, we didn't even mention happy tax day, everyone.
It was kind of nice not thinking about depressing things.
I know. And I was supposed to cover some stuff on taxes, but I don't know. Everyone has enough tax headaches today, so you don't want to hear anything about taxes.
You covered it in one of our Core Pals.
Core Pals, yeah.
I'm going to share
Core Pal.
I'm going to share it right now.
Share it now. It actually is exciting because at the end of the day, when we talk about one-trick ponies, one of the most expensive one-trick ponies out there is your sales tax services, especially if you sell a lot online. You're spending a ton of money, right, on these third parties. And again, you can still keep using the third parties, but if we can save you literally a few $100s a month, let's say you're spending $300 or $400 or $500 a month. Again, that's $6,000 a year. If we can save you on that, that's what we're going to do. And we'll post the CorePal, but really quick I'll just cover it really quickly. But within your website module under settings, we now have sales tax settings. And it's not just settings, right? Because previously in CoreForce, we told people, yeah, you can set up your sales tax manually. Well, no one's going to do that when you're selling to multiple states. And how do you know what state do you need to pay taxes to? Well, now we're going to tell you, right? So we're actually going to show you what states, first of all, collect taxes, right? Because there's certain states there is no sales tax. But we'll also show you when do you reach the threshold where you owe sales tax, right? Because almost every state has what's called nexus. And that just means if you have a physical location in a state, you have to collect taxes. I know most people know this, but just for those of you who maybe are new to selling, online, and may not fully understand this. If you have, it doesn't matter, any physical presence. If you have a warehouse, if you have an office, it's not if I have a retail store. It's if you have a physical business presence in a state, you are obligated to collect taxes. And you're obligated to collect taxes based on where you're shipping the item to. So again, if I have an office in North Carolina and I'm shipping something to Raleigh, that's the tax that I need to collect, not just state tax. You need to collect the municipality tax, right? So the new platform, we will handle that for you, right? So we handle a couple of things. If you don't have a physical presence, right? So I don't have a physical presence in Alabama, right? We show you what is that threshold, right? In this case, it's $250 of retail sales in the prior calendar year. So if I haven't sold $250,000 the prior calendar year, I don't have to collect taxes in Alabama. But if I reach that threshold, I am obligated by law. And the last thing you want to do is mess around with, not paying taxes. I mean, again, I know a lot of people, they kind of play that game. Hey, I haven't been caught yet. I can tell you from experience that not my personal experience. I'm aware of a very big seller that a couple of the states decided to go after, and it was to the tune of millions of dollars because they were not collecting taxes. And talk about the penalties and the headaches. And so my advice is always, if you hit that threshold, pay those taxes. So we're going to track that for you. We'll track your year-to-date sales and last year's sales, and you can choose, right? The power is in your hands to choose whether or not you collect tax. The minute you turn this on, we will calculate the exact tax that is owed, and that's what we charge at the time of checkout based on the shipping address. And again, if you hit certain number of transactions, we have to charge for it because we don't have that literally in our system. We are relying on a very good third-party service, but it's a much cheaper service. And again, most people won't reach these numbers, but we do have some large customers that do reach these numbers. Now, the things that we won't do immediately right now is we won't register you in that state. You have to register yourself, nor will we actually submit the sales tax for you. But again, everyone has an accountant. Do you want to pay your accountant a few $100s to file, whether it's once a quarter or once a year, whatever, however often it is? I'm not a tax expert. Just pay a little money to them, or, you just go do that, once a quarter, once a year? Or do you want to pay a service for every transaction, a bunch of money, and then pay on top of that the money to file these things? I don't know. For me, I know what my choice would be. If I can just pay a few little dollars, make sure that, my tax is calculating properly. And again, we're talking about very, very little. It's not going to add up to much. And you might say, well, Ezra, why don't you just keep offering it for free? Well, if you think about it, when you have thousands of customers, every little bit adds up quite quickly. So, we have to cover costs, just to make that very clear. But again, it will pale in comparison for what you pay a TaxJar, an Avalara, or for those of you who are not in the firearms industry, you may be using Stripe tax services. They all charge an arm and a leg, especially the one-trick ponies. When you're a one-trick pony and all you do is you help people with sales tax, you've got to charge a lot more money because you've got a lot of employees and a lot of infrastructure totally dedicated to that, right? So they have to charge, and they charge a lot. So here I am killing another one-trick pony. That's my goal in life. Sorry, ponies. Does that make me a racist?
I don't think ponies are a race.
You should run a glue factory, though.
Golly, dude.
Wow, Arden would not like that comment, Doki.
Don't show her this video. I like Arden. She's
Don't
nice
worry,
to me.
she can't sit there and listen to me for 3 hours. Are you kidding?
Poor
She'd
glue.
kill herself. So I'm pretty excited about this. I know I said I'd just show it for a second, and it's tax day. So maybe this is actually a nice thing to talk about, because this will help with your headaches. And again, tax day is a big headache for everyone, right? So happy tax day. If you haven't filed your taxes, make sure you file an extension. On a personal level, it gives you till October. Not that I'm encouraging you to do that, but don't forget, at least file the extension, because it's when you don't follow the rules is when you get your audits. It's no different, right, with any of compliance stuff. Yeah. So on tax day, I'll share a little bit of advice that I learned from my accountant from, 30 years ago, when I had another company that I owned. And he was a really good accountant. And he always told me, and this is good advice, I'm not a tax advisor, and I know I'm being recorded, but he always said, Ezra, never understate your income. You can always overstate your expenses, because sometimes you make a mistake and you think, hey, this was a true business expense, right? So a little bit of business advice for everyone. Don't ever try to hide revenue, because that's where you can get in big trouble. But, in terms of expenses, business expenses are business expenses. So, you can always try to maximize your business expenses. How's that for good business advice, Joel? And why'd you take me off? Why'd you take my screen off the screen?
Because you were talking to the people, and I thought it would be better to have a close-up of you talking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to just give me a hint that since we're coming on the 3-hour mark, that I should stop.
Sort of, but I didn't want to be that blatant about it. I just used that
Okay,
opportunity.
but I promised everyone a preview of our point of sale, and I'm going to do it in 2 minutes.
All right. 2
Okay,
minutes.
maybe more.
Oh,
2 minutes.
Oh. I'm sorry,
2
Colton
minutes.
Oki. I know I promised you we would be done in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're racking up quite the bill today there, Joel.
Another $40 coming our way, Colt.
Oh, no.
All right. this is our point of sale for Coreware. And I'm in what we call the full touchscreen mode. So in this mode, I can literally pull up my different items. I can ring up an item, full screen. This is cool because, it shows you your categories, but in this case, I have my subcategory set up by caliber. So again, not necessarily practical because typically you're just scanning, but just to show you that you could use a full touchscreen mode. Again, the nice thing is you'll see at the top here that it shows me what station I'm using, which is Office 1, right? And we can just make a payment. I can choose credit card. I'll hit done, and I'll just process this payment. And in this example, I've got my Equinox 6200, which I don't really need to. I have it, and it's waiting for payment. So I'm processing the payment.
Look at that, approved.
Bam. So just to make sure, especially my internal team, who, I think has beginning to doubt that Ezra's doing anything on the point of sale side, because I've been working on so many other modules. It is there. It is alive. It is real. And the neat thing is, again, this is the PIN number that we talked about. So if you were with us earlier and we talked about employees and PIN numbers, I can just do that really quick, and it's ready for the next sale. Really cool. Just to show you a couple of other quick things. If I go to another register, this actually, and again, any sales screen, I can click that top right and put it in full screen mode, which is much better, right, for point of sale. So this is our in-between touchscreen and non-touchscreen, which is cool because a lot of times you've got services, you've got, licenses, all kinds of things that you may, fishing licenses or things like that you have no barcode for. And I still go into some stores where you've got these hand-printed barcodes for items. Yeah, Oki's laughing because he knows what I'm talking about.
Are the books, they got the whole binder.
The book. Yeah, and it's like, no. If I have like, some drinks or something, snacks, and I can still ring them up here, right? But this shows you, and again, I can hide that panel, which is really nice, right? And I can show it at any time. So super cool. It's like my little children here, my point of sales, and I keep trying to decide which one is my favorite, but I'm not really sure because I actually like all of them. But again, this just shows you, the other station type. Again, in this case, I'll do a cash sale and quickly put in, they gave me a $20 bill. So I can hit done. And that will process that payment. Again, I can print the receipt. I can email the receipt. And you'll notice there's a countdown at the top right. So in case, your user just forgot to hit the next button, it automatically gets it ready for the next sale. Just really, really efficient. And then the last one, not overly, exciting, only because I showed you the other two interfaces. And I don't know if I'd ever use necessarily this one, because I think having that side panel, is definitely beneficial. But this is the non-touch screen, right? So it's very similar to the previous one, but there's no side panel at all. So those are the kind of the three different interfaces. I can still search, pull up items, I can scan them. And I've got my quick actions here. So again, you'll end up seeing a lot more quick actions. You've got complete configuration options for setting up your workstations. We support the discounts and the coupons, and so much easier in terms of even entering discounts and entering coupons. Much more intuitive, still supports line item notes and sale notes, and scanning your driver's license and finding customers, being able to also, the minute if I put in a customer, for example, John, I've got a lot of John Smiths. So I'll put John Smith on at this point. Since I have a customer in here, now I can actually suspend the transaction, right? And even the suspension is just a lot easier, a lot nicer to look at, instead of this crowded screen that's sometimes really hard to figure out. So the whole goal here is to make something that's just faster, more efficient, and easier to learn, easier to use. I think CoreStore really shines when it comes to everything that it does, and it is pretty easy to learn, but there's still some nuances that sometimes, confuse our users. So we're trying to take a lot of that confusion away. And this is the point of sale. So as you can see, it is real. It is near ready. Finishing this up is phase 1 of the new Coreware platform. We will be able to onboard new customers, and literally they'll be able to use the entire platform without using any legacy system. We are days away from turning everything on. The FFL module, I believe, is being turned on. Hopefully, we've got a couple of customers using it. But we are now totally have the metal to the pedal at this point, and we are moving quick, fast and furious. Next coreBLAST, we'll go over purchasing, we'll go over inventory, we'll go over the point of sale, and definitely, I think you should attend. We will schedule that for, I think, Thursday, Joel. Thursday, early afternoon. You're muted, rookie.
So tomorrow afternoon, I'm sorry.
Hell to the hell no.
So we'll see everybody tomorrow afternoon, where we talk about everything that we didn't talk about today. I'm just joking. Not tomorrow afternoon, guys.
No.
We'll send you some invites.
No. And hopefully by then I won't be too jet lagged, but who knows? My internal time clock is completely. Do you know I was making dinner at 1 a.m. last night?
You'd make a good Italian.
I did. I made a good. I actually, it's funny you said it, because I made a spinach pasta with salmon. Yeah, very nice. And speaking of, Joel, we need to finish this with
sardines.
Sardines. I have not started it. I think I told you I went to the store. And Oki, you need to look into this, because especially it's supposed to lower. I sent you a video. Yeah, it's serious. It's much easier than fasting, and especially with your low blood sugar and stuff. So, yeah, it's might be worth looking at. Wait, say that again.
I'm scared of sardines, but I'm gonna check it out.
Why are you scared of sardines?
Oh.
There's something about, I don't know, being in a can. I don't know.
You're going to do horrible during the apocalypse.
Yeah, I didn't plan on making it very long.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, maybe by next week, Joel will do. I don't know. I'm traveling, so I'm probably going to not be able to stick to.
Yeah.
To the.
It's hard when you travel.
The sardine routine. It is. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's growing popularity, because I think I told you I went to the store, and there was literally, in the store that I went to that normally has a pretty good selection, there was one can left.
So I'm just going to tell you what this all could be. What this all could be is just a social experiment. Because I'm now seeing videos from like 8 to 9 months ago where people were talking about it. So the lizard people are saying, "Hey, let's say this and watch the effects of it," right? So now they're seeing sardine sales go up. You can't find any, right? And they're probably killing us. It's like, what are you doing? That's high salt content.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
fun. I still want to try it.
I've got tons.
Nice.
Well,
nice. Well,
so next Thursday, we are done now, right? Are we done?
I mean,
where'd Colt
if you want
go?
me to go on, I could. Yeah, where did Colt go? I think he had a meeting.
Has said that we're done. Okie, you look happy.
I love this song. This song gets me.
I love it. I think a music video is coming for this.
Grapefruit talking with a power line smile. Core in the rhythm with a barcode dial. Marshmallow suit and a bellhop stare. Where rolls deep in electric air. Left turn jump in a right side groove. Backbeat buzzing like a checkout move. Flamingo moon in a concrete dream. Core said slide, where said stream. Zigzag core in a neon stare. Grooving through the grid with a head full of wear. Baseline bounce in a prism of sound. Core steps up, never backs down. In a cape with a customer grin. We're on the mic with a limited spin. Quarter past clean in a digital jam. Cores in motion like a hologram. Sidewalk come with a cash box glow. Where don't stop when the numbers flow. Everything shines when the beat runs tight. Coreware cruising in the pixel light. I saw a milkshake levitate at the edge of the Ethernet. Core wave, where moonwalk, then the lights blink 12. Forever. Zigzag when the neon zigzag core, eyes wide open. We got style, never broken. Slide the code in a jazz up flare. 1-2 punch from Coreware.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Ezra, next Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern or normal time? 1 p.m. Eastern?
Let's do it at 1. Yeah.
1 p.m. Eastern next Thursday. Look out for the email. Make sure you register so we know you're coming. And thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Oki.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ezra. Hey, Colt. Whatever, dude. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.